think they had a consolation game after that. The consolation game that year was Virginia and LSU in 1981. This is not a consolation game. This is a second-round game between two teams that lost their first game yesterday. One of those will be Butler. The other will be Texas A&M. Butler right now has a 1-point advantage with under 8 to go, 18-17. First half of play in the Maui Invitational from Las Vegas, Nevada. But we are at World of Beer with Coors Light. We have not one pair, but two pair of Pacer tickets to give away. Jenna is here, and she's going to make sure that you can get here and you sign up and hopefully win some tickets to a Pacer game coming up. Here's the great part about this. They're going to be at home for a long period of time now. This whole road warrior thing is over. And I will say this. I mean, we talked about the Colts and what they did in Buffalo on Sunday with good reason. But what the Pacers did last night in terms of November NBA and a team just 2 games ago with a starting lineup that got benched. Listen, I don't know if that is the root of the reason why you see them now winners of 2 consecutive. I mean, for one, New Orleans on Saturday night, they're a 3-win team and they're awful. So that's the expectation. But last night, the Bulls have been beyond legit the entirety of the season. No Vujacic last night, and the Pacers went at them with the 2 bigs. And the Pacers got out with like a 14-zip run and never looked back. You know what? As a sports fan in this market, what's going on, brother? Kurt's here. As a sports fan in this market, you had to watch the Colts on Sunday. And I know still people were kind of freaking and just kind of waiting. What's the saying? The other shoe to drop, whatever that means, right? I guess in terms of actual definition, you were waiting on the Colts to lose that game, to lose that lead and then lose that game. But you know what? You got to sit back and relax, and you got to watch Jonathan Taylor score 5 touchdowns, and you got to watch the Colts run away with it. I mean, there was no intrigue. There was no freak out at the end of the game, and that's how it was last night. I mean, in a similar capacity, last night in Chicago, it was the same way. If you're a fan of the Pacers, if you watch the Pacers, you just kind of sat back and you were waiting for the Pacers to gag up a lead in the second half. This is too good to be true in the first half. They were shooting the ball well, knocking down threes, playing great D. You know, Lonzo Ball in Chicago so far this year has been really good. I mean, all these offseason moves that the Bulls have made up until that point it really worked out. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's always going to be that guy that, you know, is a really good scorer, but he is a tweener in this day and age of the NBA. He's like right inside the three-point line. He's straddling the three-point line. He's a 2-point shooter in a 3-point shooter's world. Now, granted, if you have other shooters that can score, really, just score 2. Because 2 ultimately is better than when you miss a 3. But he's like that ultimate in this day and age of the NBA tweener. He is. But he's been good for that team so far. You know, Ball has been good for that team so far. What's going on, Big Glenn? He's ready to go to win some tickets today. I'll see you right there. But, man, last night, the Pacers jumped out. The Pacers went big and used their bigs, jumped out, and I thought looked absolutely fantastic from start to finish. You know, I'm watching every game. That Utah game was impressive, don't get me wrong, and maybe that still is the more impressive game of the season. But I'm going to put the Bulls right up there, and here's why. Because just 2 games prior, you go back to Friday night. Just on Friday night, if you remember, Rick Carlisle had to bench his starters. And whether or not that is the root as to why this worked, like my man Showalter sent me a tweet last night, and I probably owe him a retweet. But he said, I think Rick Carlisle should have started benching and yelling at guys, you know, earlier in the season. Hey, if that works, that works. It doesn't matter. If it works, if you win and what you're doing works, it works. I mean, you got to learn something from Bull Durham. You know, if you're winning games because your shower shoes have fungus on them, then you're winning games because your shower shoes have fungus on them. If you're now 2-0 by virtue of your coach going a little bit ham by NBA standards and benching your starters, and then going with, a second and third team group, which, by the way, in Charlotte had an opportunity to get that thing tied down the stretch. And then afterwards, he basically went out and said, hey, I'm really proud of these guys off the bench. He talked about Brad Wanamaker ad nauseum. I mean, if that's the reason why they have won the last two, and again, my thought is on Saturday, I mean, it's going to be hard to lose to New Orleans because they're a mess. But last night was impressive. So you have had, with the Colts on Sunday and the Pacers last night, you have had opportunities to sit back and enjoy your favorite team just kind of running away and hiding and taking all the intrigue out of it. And frankly, you haven't had very many of those opportunities, have you? I was just thinking the other day, when was the last time you had that opportunity against a legit team in watching the Colts? I mean, honestly, that is just how good that game on Sunday made you feel. Now, again, there is a little bit of, well, hold on a minute, because you saw Tampa Bay's act last night. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they're in town coming up on Sunday. And as I said yesterday, and I stand as firmly behind that statement today as I did yesterday, and as I mentioned to you, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed if this Colts team does not come out and play off of what they did to Buffalo on the road in Buffalo. I mean, there was just way too much to go off of in that game to lose it immediately. Right? Hey, listen, it's not going to be easy. I mean, just like doing what they did in Buffalo was not going to be easy. But at the same time, I mean, this is definitely a situation where you have an opportunity. Remember, we talked about getting a split and how good you would feel in getting a split? I mean, think about this from the standpoint of how much better would you feel if they go into this and they go 2-0 over this stretch of the season. There's little question about that. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's kind of talking a little bit about Jonathan Taylor. Again, I will tell you this, and it's not like you don't know it, because I've gone over it. I went over it yesterday with you as well. We have gone through various phases of the season with the it teams and the it players. I mean, how many MVPs have we had so far this year? I mean, hell, nowadays we start with what? Week number 2 with that in mind? Start handing out MVPs? Start talking about awards, coaches of the year, who's going to get fired, all that stuff. We start talking about that, basically in week number 2 anymore. So, again, I would challenge you, not to fall into the trap, but also feel good about it. I mean, you can go down the line. There was a point in time when the Ravens felt like they were the best. Lamar Jackson was the MVP. The Chargers for a week, they were the best. Justin Herbert's the MVP. The Bengals were an up-and-comer, and they had a great week, and Burrow was the MVP, or all of a sudden he's get conversation. I mean, it has been – but this time of year, when you play like this – and you're able to sustain, and that's what we're watching for coming up on Sunday, is the sustainability of it. They got rid of a lot of heavy baggage on Sunday. Beating a good team, beating a playoff-worthy team, playing the entirety of a game. I'm not overstating it whatsoever. That was the best game, the cleanest game that this team has played in the Ballard and Reich era. I think that's a promo that's rolling around here right now, and that is accurately stated. Again, I know people want to argue Kansas City, and you always put an argument in when it comes to a postseason game, and the one postseason win they have is going down to Houston and doing that back in 2018. But still, considering the circumstances, what we had seen, and how there was more than just a reasonable doubt with this team from the fan base and those that cover it here going into Sunday. I mean, even if the Bills right now are backpedaling a little bit, Even if New England's taken over in the AFC East, that was a game on so many different fronts that this Colts team absolutely needed. Not just you, the fan, not just the media covering it, but they needed that as players. Because they know what's going on, too. I mean, hell, if we know what's going on, you know absolutely they know what's going on. And that was needed. So now what do you got to show? I mean, you've proven you can beat a playoff-worthy team on the road. You've now done this thing twice in conditions that aren't normally conducive in describing how the Colts might play, right? I mean, they get fashioned. They get defined as an indoor team, and hey, the owner's got the roof closed when it's 70 degrees, and how soft are they? Everybody's soft. That's not a soft team. I didn't see a soft team in Santa Clara. I sure as hell didn't see a soft team in Western New York on Sunday. You know, it's like this. It's like that affects the players, right? Because the owner decides not to have the roof open or the window open. That's what the players. This team has played well in incredibly awful conditions and better than the teams that would normally be outside in said conditions, especially that in Buffalo. So that to me is impressive. Now what do? You go out there and see if you are capable of sustaining that. That is the next move. And in the process, continue to climb that ladder. I mean, it has been amazing, has it not, to watch this team try to dig out of the hole that they put themselves in. And it was all on them. It was all on them. It was on the coaching staff, a variety of things. I mean, you look back at some of these games. Hey, I might even give you the one in Nashville. The only reason I say that was something that was more the Colts than it was the Titans in Week 3 was because the Colts turned the Titans over 3 times. And those circumstances normally dictate that you get a win. I mean, you saw what the Colts did to the Bills turnover-wise on Sunday. How did that turn out? And if you look at the turnover differential in the NFL at least a couple of weeks ago, certainly, and I'm assuming it still bears out, the best teams in the NFL, those playoff-worthy teams, those teams that everybody suggests will challenge for a Super Bowl title, certainly in the AFC or the NFC, are normally those teams that turn the other team over a hell of a lot more than they turn it over themselves. And the Colts are one of those teams. And the Colts are just a game above 500, but trying to get back now. So maybe I'll give you a little bit of that. Didn't quite beat themselves more than Tennessee beat them in Week 3. But they sure as hell did that back on Halloween in that return matchup against the Titans. They sure as hell did that on Monday night in Baltimore. They've done that a variety of times, have they not? I mean, this season, when you think about it, the Rams, there was another one in Week 2. I mean, it shoulda, coulda, woulda plays really well in sports talk radio, and we talk about that often. But in this case, I think it's more about what this team could possibly be transforming itself into more than anything else. So they kind of squashed a lot of what we were thinking about them on Sunday, and now it's time to do even more of that this Sunday against the defending Super Bowl champions. A lot of work to be done there. Hey, by the way, Texas A&M is on, I think, a 12-zip run right now. Aggies 30, Butler 18. And Butler just doesn't look good. Butler can't score. They've got 18 points with under 3 to go in the first half. This is not one of those things, well, it's early in the season. This just looks like the identity of this Butler team this year. They just can't score. Can't score. Can't do a lot at this point in time. Down 12 right now, under 3 in the first half. That is day number 2 of the Maui Invitational, which is being played in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. Show us on Twitter at jmv1070. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. Jenna is here handing out gear, and we've got the ice-cold Coors Light ready for you as well, and your chance to win Pacers tickets. Hey, Jenna, what's this game for? Do we know? Is it for tomorrow night? All right. So we got tickets for tomorrow. I know a lot of you. Big Glenn's already here ready to sign up. So he's already got the ice-cold Coors Light, and he is ready to go as well. World of Beer is our location. By the way, did I say this yesterday, Kyle? Did I say it plural? World of beers. There may have been a point in time, and I want to dispel this nasty rumor that Kyle started privately with me yesterday, because I think I did a couple of different times reference this as World of Beers, because I was thinking plural, right? It is World of Beer, but I was thinking plural. It's not like what Kyle said when he told me, hey, typical Southern Indiana, adding an S to everything. You know what I mean? Like Kroger's, like taking the S off of Tiger Woods and Tiger Wood, or adding the S to Kerry Woods, you know what I mean? Or adding an S to Myers. Normally that is a Southern Indiana thing, don't get me wrong, but no, I was just going with the plural, Kyle, beers, not so much adding the S, because I'm born and raised in southwestern Indiana, as you thought. You offended a number of people, I'm sure, where I'm from.
Well, thanks for clarifying, because there was rumors all around that you were reverting back to your youth.
Yeah. Listen, if I call my couch the Davenport, if I say when I'm going to be there and reference it as I will be there directly, and if I say code instead of cold, or coats instead of Colts, or hoed instead of hold, then you might be onto something. But until that point in time, Kyle, that was just you know what? It's the World of Beer, but they've got all kinds of beers here. Adding to the plural of it is what I was doing. And we're drinking the ice-cold Coors Light, and we're giving you a chance at Pacer tickets for tomorrow night, and we're on Mass Ave today. So we could dive into all that and more at 239-1070. We got also the state football finals coming up this weekend, too. One of the great things about the Thanksgiving holiday, actually, I'll give you the good and the bad. The good, obviously, is all the sports that are going on. I mean, you got the bucket game, no matter what type of season IU's had, and everybody is thrilled. I mean, IU and Purdue, it is absolutely opposite. I mean, Purdue is doing what everybody thought IU was going to do. And, in fact, I think IU is actually doing worse than what a lot of Purdue fans felt that Jeff Brom's team was going to do. But it's still a bucket game. It's still coming up. And that still holds a great deal of interest regardless. But you got all the sports going on, and you also have the high school football championships. Nobody better to share in all of that than Greg Rakestraw, who's going to join us as he normally does, coming up at the bottom of this hour as well. Greg, and we'll talk about what's happening with every level of it, too, with the teams. Man, you got some surprises, but you got some standbys. Yeah, I'm assuming most people probably felt who was going to end up matching up in that 6A title game, and that's exactly what happened. Well, we'll get into that and a lot more with Greg Rakestraw coming up at the bottom of the hour. We've got Ben Brown, right, Kyle? Pro Football Focus. He is our analytics. He is our football scientist from PFF. We'll dive into some of the numbers. The one thing I was thinking about, and I'm curious if you guys are on the same page, going in, and this is something we brought up with Rick Venturi on the pregame show on Sunday. Going in, the numbers would equate to Buffalo's defense, especially against the run, as number 1 in the NFL. That's how good they had been. And we'll go by those numbers then and those numbers after a matchup with Jonathan Taylor and this Colts offense on Sunday. Our scientist, Ben Brown, joins us from PFF in hour number 2. We also got coming up, do we know, is Derek coming on the show today?
Yep, we got Derek 4:30 today.
Derek Schultz is a former colleague of one Jake Query, who's with Kevin and Query in the mornings, weekday mornings, 7 until 10. Must listen right there, weekday mornings on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I shouldn't say used to be a colleague because he still is. They still do their show on ISC Network, Greg Rakestraw station as well. They still do that show, I think, every Monday and tape it, and you can see it on various forms of social media platforms. But he also is a writer. Yeah, he's like a mini Bill Shakespeare. He's a writer for Indianapolis Monthly, and his latest goes all the way back to the anniversary. 20 years ago was the infamous Jim Mora playoffs presser. And I was actually there. I remember being there. I was sitting right there. I was at the other station on the northeast side, and I was working with Mark Patrick. Check that. I'm sorry, at the time, was it? Yeah, it was. I was working with Mark Patrick at the time because the guy that asked the question that got Jim Mora rolling on that day, and this is the 20th anniversary, was Tim Bragg, who is now an outstanding educator. Tim Bragg's a former sports talk show host in this market, and this is what he was doing at the time. He was a sports guy at RTV6, and he was the one that got the playoffs ball rolling. And Derek has a really interesting article in Indianapolis Monthly on our 5th floor about 20 years and the transition that Colts organizationally they have made, seriously, into something that everybody thought could turn into something great, but had yet to do so. Right? That moment ushered in the era of greatness that finally saw, all these paths coming together. Polian, Dungy, Manning, Harrison, Wayne, James, Super Bowl 41. That was kind of was the beginning point of the greatness of that era. And we'll talk to Derek about that coming up a little bit later on. I owe you a Raise Trash Anything Goes coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. RaiseTrash.com. If you need a new gig, they've got great gigs right now. Employment opportunities for drivers and industry-leading opportunities for drivers and those that don't drive as well for what has always been, since the 1960s, a locally owned organization and company that is outstanding. Raise Trash Anything Goes is going to come up in the 5 o'clock hour at some point today. All right, 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. On Twitter at jmv1070. Inside the lounge via YouTube Live. If we got the group in there, that is spectacular. World of Beer on Mass Ave is our location with Coors Light. We have 2 pair of Pacer tickets to give away for tomorrow night. And Jenna has a bunch of gear that she's going to hand out while you're here as well. So your opportunity the next 2 days to win are coming at you as we are on the road. I'll tell you where we're going to be tomorrow a little bit later on. Today, Mass Ave, World of Beer. Shout out to Caitlin. I came in here frustrated as hell. As everybody knows that works with me promotionally, Cam knows he works with me engineering-wise. When I have to park anywhere downtown, I have to use these stinking meters. I end up screaming at them for about 15 minutes because I just simply can't get them to work. So today, I got out of the vehicle, and I tried to get it to work, and it wouldn't work. And I screamed until somebody said, "Why are you screaming at the meter?" And I said, "Well, because I'm a huge idiot. I'm an old man screaming at the meter." And I came in here, and the promotion staff that was here, you had Sienna and Caitlin, and I said, "Which one of you would like to go down and feed the meter for me?" Huh? One what? What's that? Oh, 1 pair? Oh, okay. 1 pair of tickets. Oh, I'm talking about the meter. 1 pair of tickets to give away. Well, Knezovich told me we're giving away 2. I swear he did. Oh, Caitlin says 1. Anyway, Caitlin stepped up and decided to go down and feed the meter for me. I could not get it to work for nothing. And, of course, the younger generation steps up and does something that I am simply unable to do. And I got to give them both a shout-out. Sienna, not as much as Caitlin, because Sienna stayed right here. Sienna was working for moral support. But Caitlin actually went down there and did it. Those things drive me insane. I have never, ever gotten one to work. Ever. Ever gotten one to work. So thank you, guys. I appreciate that for the helper. World of Beer, Mass Ave. They say we have 1 pair. Knezovich said we had 2. We'll meet somewhere in the middle coming up a little bit later on. Coors Light brings us to you on Mass Ave, World of Beer. Greg Rakestraw on what is a mammothly busy end of the week and weekend for sure around here. We'll go into the high school football finals, collegiately, football and basketball. More of that with Greg Rakestraw, you and I, on this show next.
Alexa, set the smoke setting on my Traeger grill to super smoke. Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Imagine controlling your Traeger grill by your smartphone or virtual assistant. Your holiday cookout just got a whole lot cooler. Along with Traeger wood-fired grill smart features, use it to grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue. Plus, the hardwood pellets naturally enhance the flavor. And for a limited time, with purchase of your qualifying Traeger grill, receive a gift bundle including grill cover, 2 sauces, 3 rubs, a hat, and a holiday ornament. As a platinum dealer, Sullivan Hardware and Garden offers the widest selection of Traeger products, as well as service and support and cooking classes. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn in Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
We've done it again!
While other lenders are talking about raising their rates, our expert team at Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With the low rate of 1.875% and home values at all-time highs, you can get more cash out of your home or eliminate pricey mortgage insurance.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get your refinance started within minutes and make no mortgage payments until next year.
After all, our team speaks mortgage and loves translating it for customers. We can save you even more money with our 1.875% rate.
Plus, you'll never pay up front for your appraisal at Golden Oak. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, JMV, this Thanksgiving, FanDuel Sportsbook is thankful for you. That's why they're giving all customers up to a $100 bonus on same-game parlays. Feast on the NFL all weekend long and turn little bets into big paydays with same-game parlays. There is so much you can look forward to coming up on Thanksgiving and this weekend. I mean, you can go at it. I mention all the time the Colts and the Buccaneers. That is a big one certainly around here. Make it happen with a same-game parlay. Yards, passing with Brady and with Wentz, or whatever you want to do. But do it with FanDuel Sportsbook using the promo code JMV. Again, you can also have a risk-free bet up to $1,000 by using that promo code JMV. 21 plus and present in Indiana. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $100. Plus 400 odds or longer wager required. Restrictions apply at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
Hi. I'm hosting the holidays at my house this year, and I'm looking for something green.
We've got tons of ways to help you save water, lower your electricity bill, or reduce waste to help you live more sustainably this holiday season.
Oh, I was thinking more like green, like a chartreuse or like holly.
Ah, well, we have those too.
You know what? I'll check out that green stuff first.
This year at IKEA, Black Friday is going green. Check out IKEA Green Friday at your local IKEA store or IKEA-USA.com/Green Friday.
Avid golfer Cam Warren played with joint pain for as long as he could.
Couldn't play golf for any extended period of time without braces and pain and chewing Advil for the entire day.
Then he turned to steroids.
Cortisone would last a few months, but it just inevitably came right back. Got to the point where I would have to wear ice packs to bed.
When the word surgery came up, Cam started looking elsewhere, and he found QC Kinetics. Natural biologic therapies, regenerative treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue. With no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. And now,
very proud to say that it has definitely changed my life. I've played 36 holes multiple days in a row without pain. Everything is great.
Call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you. Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/2021. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
There has never been a better time to work at Amazon. They are offering sign-on bonuses up to $3,000 and pay up to $24.50 per hour. Many jobs come with great benefits that start on your first day, and Amazon offers a variety of paths for career growth. They have flexible shifts and schedules, and you can start in as little as 7 days, so you'll be earning extra income just in time for the holidays. Go to Amazon.com/apply to get started today. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Black Friday savings are here. Buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa Tires. Save $100 instantly on Cooper Tires and $140 instantly on Michelin Tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
World of Beer is our location. Mass Ave. Jenna from Coors Light is here, and she says we have 2 pair. For tomorrow night's game, that's the Lakers and the Pacers, by the way. My man Billy is here, Big Glenn is here, so you better slide by here, the Mass Ave location, and put your name in for those tickets coming up tomorrow night, courtesy of our friends at Coors Light. We'll be here until 6 o'clock, and I mentioned a little bit later on, PFF, our analytics, our NFL scientist, Ben Brown, joins us coming up at the top of the hour. Derek Schultz in Indianapolis Monthly has a really interesting article about 20 years of the Colts since the Mora meltdown in the post-game presser playoffs. And we'll dive into that a little bit later on with Derek as well. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Our friend Greg Rakestraw joins us from a variety of things. I want to start out here because it's on right now. Butler's a mess, Greg. Butler's a mess, and I thought David Woods of the Star had put this right. This is not just one of those kind of struggling beginnings. This kind of looks to be the description of this Butler team and might just be that the entirety of the season.
They have played 3 quality teams, and they have not been close in any of those games. And that is a problem because I'm not sure anybody had super high expectations for them this year. Everybody kind of acknowledged that last year, was a struggle. It was a struggle for everybody. But to some degree, without fans largely being in the building, kind of got a little bit of a free pass. But it was thought, hey, you need to get this going in the right direction. And they are looking about as far from good as you can right now.
Yeah, and you look for answers, and that's the thing. You just don't see any. You know what I mean?
Right, correct. And, again, you have to have those answers by the end of the season. Again, I'm not saying you have to hit a certain level of the NCAA tournament, but you need to be in that conversation. And if not, then there's some other conversations that are probably going to be had.
Yeah, I'm assuming regarding Laval Jordan, too. We'll see. But down big at the half out in Vegas in the Maui Invitational to Texas A&M. Greg Rakestraw joins us. You get IU, Jackson State coming up later on tonight. IU did on Sunday against Louisiana what you should be doing, and I'm assuming we'll follow that pattern later on tonight.
I am to the point now, and again, credit to these schools, and in one sense it's bad for the mid-majors, low majors, but they get fewer opportunities to play against the big boys. But at the same time, we are now down to really most of these major conference schools only play 5 or 6 games against teams that are not like them. And when they do, I completely have a tune-out factor. Now, on Sunday night, just kind of the randomness of life, I had a chance to sit down and watch more of that IU game than I really had of any of the others so far this year. But wake me up next week. I'll pay a little more attention to Marshall coming up this weekend. But wake me up next week for the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Then you will have my attention.
It's Greg Rakestraw with us. Meantime, Purdue in Connecticut over the weekend looked fantastic in both those wins over Carolina and Villanova.
which is what you expect. I mean, let's face it. It goes along with everything that we said about this Purdue team. We are talking about a Final Four. We are talking about a national championship. In that room, if there's any sort of big picture goals, topics, etc., it should be about being the best team in the country. They are in that conversation. Obviously, two of the others, in terms of Gonzaga and UCLA, are set to play each other. We're going to learn a lot more about those two in a quick hurry. But again, those are the types of games, especially for Purdue, whom the bar is set significantly higher than it is for anybody else in the state this year. That's what I want to see. And of course, Matt Painter knows that. He knows his talent. He knows the veteran nature of his team. So he knows they're ready to play a North Carolina and a Villanova in back-to-back days. And then come back and play in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And then have the first weekend of Big Ten conference play. And then a couple of weeks later, play in the Crossroads Classic. This team is capable of doing those things, and I was happy to see him answer the bell, especially on Sunday, knowing that it was not looking good for a good chunk of that second half against Nova.
Greg Rakestraw joins us. Besides the norm, what does the bucket game represent, both sides, in your opinion? I think we know what it reps for the Boilermakers. What's it mean for Tom Allen and his team that so have just incredibly underachieved this season?
A chance to have any sort of saving grace or good memory about this year, knowing that how much backwards I think this year has set them on the forward progress they had achieved. Doesn't wipe everything away because the recruiting classes are still good. But when I look at the giant leap backwards that Indiana made this year, and I acknowledge did not get a break in scheduling, did not get a break in terms of injuries, but still, you've got to be better than 2-9 after the year they had last year and the upward trajectory they had been on in years previous. To me, the biggest impact of that is going to be the empty seats at Memorial Stadium, because at the beginning of the year that was not the case. You know, people were finding their ways through construction to get to Bloomington. Now people once again have an excuse to not go to football games. I'm not sure you can completely erase that by beating Purdue, but you at least have bragging rights still on your big rival, the team that you are most often recruiting against, and you've got something to point to your fan base and say, look, this good thing did happen in 2021.
Here's what's odd. I said this a little bit earlier. It's almost like the year was flipped between what we thought IU was going to be, and I mean everybody, right, and then what everybody thought the Boilermakers were going to be. Maybe not as bad as what IU has turned out to be, but certainly nowhere near as where Purdue is right now as far as coming toward the end of the regular season.
No, I mean, the fact that Purdue was able to beat Iowa when they were a top-5 team, beat Michigan State when they were a top-5 team, you know, as it plays out now, are those top-5 teams? Probably not. The top 15 teams, the top 20 teams. And given the fact that we didn't think that was in the cards for this Purdue team, tells you that, again, they're maybe in better shape than we thought they would be. It also points to just how good players like David Bell and George Karlaftis are. And I do think those are guys that Jeff Brom is going to have to replace next year. I do think both those guys are up the NFL draft. And if they're not both called on a Thursday night, then maybe one of them hangs around until Friday night in the second round, because those two guys are great players who I think are playing their last bucket game on Saturday.
He's Greg Rakestraw with us. You are going to be busy both Friday and Saturday for sure with the football state finals. Let's start in Class A. That's 12:05 coming up on Friday afternoon. Adams Central and a Lutheran. Lutheran has been building and been something on the southeast side, especially in football, for a while. Where was this beginning from what you recollect?
Well, I mean, they've only been playing football for about 17, 18 years, I believe. I think 2003, 2004 was the first year they played football, and they have now been consistently good for the better part of the last 7 or 8 years. They just haven't won the state championship yet. They were the runners-up in a great game 2 years ago against Central Catholic. Then last year, Covenant Christian had some tremendous talent. Covenant Christian nearly tripped them up again in the postseason this year. But this is a Lutheran program that has turned into one of the best single-A programs in the state every year. They just don't have the championship to show it. And it will not be easy against Adams Central. This matchup, like three other ones, if you go by the Sagarin ratings, pits the top two teams in their classification in the state. And if you also go by the Sagarin ratings, Lutheran and Adams Central are both in the top 40 in the state of Indiana. So these are two of the best teams, not just in Class A, but really, again, throughout the state of Indiana. So it should be a really good matchup. I think Lutheran is the favorite, but Adams Central is as physical as any team you would find in Class 1A. So this is not, even though Lutheran's really good, it's not going to be easy on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Class 3A is at 3:30. It's Brebeuf and Gibson Southern. Gibson Southern, from what, and I'm sure you can tell us, they have a defining athlete/player. Brebeuf, meantime, I'm assuming that Brebeuf has certainly talent, but how much of playing the tough schedule on which they did would you put on the reason as to why they're playing for a title coming up on Friday?
It's both for Brebeuf. I mean, they have got, just like Brady Allen is going to head to play at Purdue University, from Gibson Southern. Joe Strickland is going to do the same from Brebeuf Jesuit. And he plays both ways along the offensive line. His future's as a defensive end, but he spends some time along the offensive line as well as far as Brebeuf Jesuit is concerned. Brebeuf does play a great schedule, and that is always an advantage for the Indianapolis teams versus the non-Indianapolis teams, the ability to go out and play great teams each and every week. Gibson Southern's really good. They have been for a long time, and because they have such a unique, talented quarterback, I think that kind of neutralizes to a certain degree the Indianapolis advantage in this game. I really think this comes down to what Brebeuf can do defensively to slow down the star quarterback of Gibson Southern versus, hey, Brebeuf played better teams week in, week out than Gibson Southern did. That's how good that kid is at quarterback for them. I really think this may be one of the best games of the weekend.
Greg Rakestraw joins us, and that final one coming up on Friday is at 7 o'clock. I think most people that cover football in the state of Indiana over the course of the season believe that Cathedral and Center Grove are the two best teams in Indiana. How could a Zionsville squad maybe throw a wrench into that at 7 o'clock in that 5A final against Cathedral on Friday night?
Just because Zionsville is the only team that plays a similar level week in, week out than Cathedral does. And Zionsville finished 4-5 during the regular season. They went 2-5 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, but that 2-5 included 3 losses to top 10 teams in Class 6A. You could actually say that this year, Zionsville played a tougher schedule than Cathedral did. It's close in terms of the quality of competition. And that being said, Cathedral will play their 8th state champ in 15 games played, 8th sectional champ in 15 games played so far this season. I think the biggest thing that Zionsville has going for them is that they played Cathedral in this game this year. I think that helps them a year ago. I think it helps them dramatically to that, they kind of know what to expect, from this fighting team. So my thought on the subject is this. I think Cathedral will likely win the game. I don't think this is more than a 1 or 2 score game. It was competitive most of the way last year. Cathedral pulled away to win by 18, but I think this is going to be closer this time around, John.
All right, 4A final coming up on Saturday afternoon, Mount Vernon and Northridge. I know Mount Vernon obviously in the regional knocking off Roncalli and impressive going all the way down to Evansville, down the Redneck Audubon, and getting a win down there and coming back up to face a Northridge team. How impressed have you been with the evolution of that Mount Vernon Marauders squad over the course of the season?
Very much so, and it's really unique storylines in this 4A game, and that's one of the two, that and the Cathedral Zionsville game, are the games that I have on the Champions Network and on TV on Valley Sports Indiana. In the case of the 5A game, we're on Valley Sports Plus because of the Pacers game on Friday night. But in Northridge and Mount Vernon, you have a pair of first-time football state finals participants. You also have a pair of first-year head coaches. Now, Vince Leidy is my age. He's in his mid-40s, and his father was the football coach at Castle. In fact, Vince was the star quarterback when Castle won the 5A crown in '94. Vince has been an assistant for the better part of 20 years, so he's not new to coaching, but this is the first time he's been the head coach, taking over from Mike Kirshner after he left to go to Warren Central in the offseason. For Northridge, Chad Epley is 27 years old. He is 5 years removed from playing football at the University of Indianapolis. The previous coach retired in the offseason. Chad got the job. Northridge went 5-4. They went through 4 different quarterbacks during the season. Their starting quarterback wears number 24. So it kind of tells you he wasn't a quarterback at the beginning of the season. They have figured some things out. They have made this nearly miraculous run. There have been a ton of upsets in the 4A bracket in both the northern and southern half of the draw. I do think Mount Vernon is the favorite in this game, but this is not the state final anybody had predicted, so who knows what might happen come Saturday afternoon.
Greg Graystraw with us. Final thing, 6A, Saturday night, Center Grove and Westfield. Most thought it was going to turn out that way, and that's exactly how it is.
Correct, and I do think that Westfield will give Center Grove a closer game than they did last year. You know, and again, for the story for the Center Grove game last year was that Westfield didn't get embarrassed. You know, that Center Grove was so much better than everybody else, and they largely have been this year. They played a couple 3 close games. 2 weeks ago, Lawrence North was one of them. I think it was the surprise a lot of folks. Obviously, the Cathedral game in week number 9. I do think that this is as good as the Hoosier Crossroads Conference has ever been. And so with that, I think Westfield is as battle-tested as they can be going into the game. So I would describe it almost exactly like I would Cathedral and Zionsville. Do I think Center Grove is the favorite? Yes. Am I kind of leaning towards Center Grove winning the football game? Yes, I do. Do I think this is anything more than a 1 or 2 score game? No, that I don't. I think that Westfield, having played Center Grove a year ago, goes a long way in kind of letting them know what to expect and helping them prepare for this game coming up on Saturday night.
So Greg Rakestraw with us. My guy Jaden Taylor has a couple of second-half baskets for the Bulldogs. Down 9 right now with under 15 to go.
And I will say this, I do think of the 3-man freshman class, I think Jade's going to have the most immediate impact for that basketball team. And given how they played the last couple, they clearly need to do that as quickly as possible.
No doubt about that. Always a pleasure, Greg. I appreciate that. I know you're going to be very busy and have a great time. And then you get the Colts coming up on Sunday in the post-game show as well. So have a great week, great Thanksgiving, you and the family, and we'll see you over the weekend.
Same to you, buddy. We'll see you soon. Happy holidays.
Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Coors Light brings us to you World of Beer. We are on Mass Ave, Butler, Texas A&M on the screens right now. Dogs trailing by 9, 37-28, under 15 to go in the second half of play. The Maui Invitational. A lot of good college hoops later on tonight. Gonzaga and UCLA 1v2. Coming at you later on this evening as well. Hey, we'll hit the Pacers also a little bit later on. Pacers, a huge win on the road in Chicago. In fact, our friends at Coors Light, we have 2 pair of Pacers-Lakers tickets coming up for tomorrow night for you while we're here on Mass Ave. Thank you for joining us. We got Ben Brown, Pro Football Focus, top of the hour. Derek Schultz has an article, 20 years since playoffs in Indianapolis Monthly. He'll join us a little bit later on. Race Trash, Anything Goes, also on the 5 o'clock hour. 93.5 and 107.5 FM, The Fan.
Check out 1075thefan.com and sign up for the 2021 Drumstick Dash presented by Wheeler Mission on Thanksgiving Day to support Wheeler Mission's great cause.
We've done it again.
While other lenders are talking about raising their rates, our expert team at Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With the low rate of 1.875% and home values at all-time highs, you can get more cash out of your home or eliminate pricey mortgage insurance.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get your refinance started within minutes and make no mortgage payments until next year.
After all, our team speaks mortgage and loves translating it for customers. We can save you even more money with our 1.875% rate.
Plus, you'll never pay up front for your appraisal at Golden Oak. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, it's Big Red Liquors. 59 locations, your chance to win one of 7 $500 Visa gift cards from now until the end of the month of November. Just in time for the holiday season, you can sign up with no purchase necessary, but you have to be 21. One of the 59 Big Red Liquors locations, and you know this, that the holiday season is perfect for you to grab something really nice for those in the gift-giving mood. That's always a great stop, and now you can sign up to win one of 7 $500 Visa gift cards, courtesy of Big Red Liquors. For more info, that's online, bigredliquors.com today.
Nothing says Happy Turkey Day like BetMGM. That is the king of sportsbooks, and they welcome you with a special offer on Thanksgiving weekend football. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any pro or college game, and if any team scores a touchdown in any Thanksgiving weekend game, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. Just use the bonus code THEFAN200, that's all one word, capital T, capital F, when you make your first bet. Feast on the football action with live betting and boosted odds specials all weekend long at BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's JMV here. If you got a Class A, B, or commercial driver's license that's valid, I want you to listen up here because Race Trash Service now hiring, offering industry-leading pay and benefits for qualified drivers. The openings do include rear load, front load, and roll-off drivers. You can check them out, racetrash.com today. You know all about Race, right? Since the 1960s, family-run and the area's largest independent recycling and waste solutions provider. In addition to the great driving opportunities, Rays also has several other career openings that may be a great fit for you. And we'll do Race Trash Anything Goes. That is coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Meantime, to apply to sign up today, racetrash.com. Now,
Hey, this is Jeff Saturday, and you've heard me talk about Mora Restoration for years. And yes, it's true, I've used Mora Restoration on my home 3 times for fire and flooding. I care about my family, and Mora made me feel confident in using them. Kenny and the team at Mora have just become part of First On Site, making them one of the largest restoration companies in Indiana and North America. Same people, same personal customer service, but large enough to handle any loss, any disaster with First On Site. When you need help, call the people Jeff Saturday calls. Call Mora Restoration, a First On Site company.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Michael. But since he is so focused on growing his career, we hired an actor to read his story.
If you want a job where you get out as much as you put in, Geico is the best place to work. Plus, we promote from within, so there are no ceilings placed on your opportunities.
They even offer parental leave to full-time employees. So there's nothing stopping him from going all the way to the top. But not too high. He's scared of heights.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Oh, got you covered here with L.D. Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. Just reached out to Lance last week, too. I got to have some work done. You know, not the incredibly difficult work, but it is work on my plumbing indeed. And what's great about L.D. Smith Plumbing, they're local. They're the best at 317-284-9526, and they can handle absolutely everything. And I mean, especially those emergencies. And that's what you want. Emergency situations, all of a sudden you need somebody bad at that moment. Well, it's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They are there for you always, and they're the best at what they do at 317-284-9526, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Billy Idol and Steve Stevens, one of rock's most successful and enduring duos.
With the rebel, yeah.
Now, see them live in 2021. Turned on, tuned in, and unplugged. Saturday, November 27th, 7 p.m. Mora Theater at Old National Center. On sale now. Get tickets at livenation.com or the Old National Center box office. Don't miss it.
Hey, 'tis the season for savings. CarX Tire and Auto, and shout out to my guys, Joe Childers and Micah, who's over in Plainfield, too. You can buy 2 tires, get 2 tires for free with the purchase of the premium installation package. Receive an additional $70 on the purchase of Continental tires. They are the absolute best. I was just over there in Plainfield on Saturday, too. Had a flat tire. I got screwed. I got a screw in my tire. I aired it up enough to get over there. Then Micah and the gang, and I always get it winterized anyway, right? And they went to work for me just like they will for you. Maintain road readiness from the fall to the winter with the absolute best. The 14 locations of CarX, and you can find the one nearest you online, carx.com today.
This year, our average client received over $52,000 with an easy cash-out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326-241.
Join me tomorrow. Benetti joins us, the Cash Man. It's the last show before the greatest holiday of the year, and I'm going to get you set up in every area. Join me tomorrow, noon to 3.
The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
World of Beer, Mass Ave. Coors Light brings us to you, and your chance. You got 2 pair of Lakers-Pacers tickets to give away for tomorrow night. Get here, sign up, be a winner. Jonathan, before the top of the hour break at 239-1070. Jonathan, hello.
Hey, JMV. Great to see you at the tavern the other night.
That was awesome to see you there. Jonathan, we're going to be back up in that neighborhood coming up tomorrow with Buccaneers Colts tickets.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just a suburban geek. It was a treat for me, but
I'll be back up there, buddy, coming up again tomorrow. We'll be at Brothers in Broad Ripple tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That's a great neighborhood, too. It was I struggled with the parking meter like you said you did, so it took me a little while to try to fix myself on that.
I have to get younger people to do it for me. Guys can't figure it out.
I almost did that. Yeah, I almost tried that. I was thinking I did get the Hard Knocks episode and watched through it, and I noticed that Ballard and Brady, in that one scene, they were whispering to each other about Jonathan, almost like they didn't want Jonathan to overhear. They were talking about how great he was, like they were shocked how good he was. So, do you think that it was kind of like a shock to Ballard himself that he had been performing so well, and that's not even counting the Buffalo game, obviously. So
here's what I found Jonathan funny. I know a lot of people felt that was kind of made for TV. You know, it was just something that they wanted to do to make sure that got on Hard Knocks. And as you watched it on Sunday, it was real. I mean, that's a real conversation between Montgomery and Ballard, running backs coach and general manager, about how they have been surprised at the trajectory on the rise of Jonathan Taylor. And that's even before, the Buck 85 and the 5 touchdowns. 4 on the ground, 1 through the air on Sunday. So, it stands to reason they're probably having a lot of conversations like that. Maybe not with the similar surprise any longer, but like that nonetheless.
I think he's pretty well-rounded considering. I think one announcer once said that he had turned down Harvard for rocket science or astrophysics or something. So, I mean, when he first got into the NFL, it looked like he was going to be slamming into blockers' backs the whole year, but he just kind of, I don't know, exploded. There's no telling how much he can impact us in the ride.
Yeah, and you're right. And thank you, Jonathan. I'll look for you up in Broad Ripple tomorrow. Hopefully he's still just scratching that surface, and that was so impressive on Sunday. It was. Quick break, and we'll come back. World of Beer, Mass Ave, Coors Light, Lakers, Pacers tickets to give away. We'll get to your calls on the other side in the 4 o'clock hour as well. Ben Brown of PFF goes inside the numbers that Buffalo run D when they met Jonathan Taylor on Sunday. That breakdown and more for you next.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
Hey, JMV here for my guys, Johnny, Chris, Love Heating and Air. The cold weather is here. You need to make sure your furnace is tuned up, safe, and running efficiently. And there's what John and Chris have for you. You guys ready? Recommended service, Love Heating and Air Conditioning. The Love family will waive the $95 trip and diagnostic fee just for you. Tell them that I sent you. They're the best to go with. Make sure you're running warm and efficiently in the cold winter months ahead, and get it done right now for $95. Take that trip and diagnostic fee off the price tag with Love Heating and Air. 317-754-0754. That's online, love-hvac.com today.
Hey, this Thanksgiving, be thankful for free bets. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has a Turkey Day no-brainer. Listen to this. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets. If either team simply scores a point, all DraftKings customers can also get in on a new same-game parlay offer that's sweeter than Grandma's pumpkin pie. For the Thanksgiving games, all customers get a risk-free bet up to $25 if your same-game parlay does not win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use code 1075-FAN. Bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game. Win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's code 1075-FAN this Thanksgiving at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 or older. Indiana only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's Big Red Liquors, too. Month of November, your chance at one of 7 $500 Visa gift cards. Sign up today. Got to be 21, but there's no purchase necessary. Any of the 59 Big Red Liquors locations. And I can tell you this, coming up in the month of December, another big giveaway that you will absolutely love. For more info, it's online, bigredliquors.com today.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, John here for Andy Moore Buick GMC. That's 131st State Road 37. It is in Fishers. Talk to my guy Eric Wilson about what they have to offer you. What I mean by that is they have inventory. A lot of folks don't. The best in Indiana, they do. So talk to Eric Wilson about the set of wheels you're looking for at the very best. Price tag, the whole car buying experience, and anything you're looking for right now when it's tough for many. It's exactly what Eric Wilson will do for you and his staff, making sure you're comfortable and going the way that you want, just like old times with the inventory and more at Indiana's best. Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37. Tell them I sent you to Fishers.
Basements get a bad rap, probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Thanks to screenwriters, crawl spaces aren't very popular either. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. And their French drains, vapor barriers, and encapsulation techniques turn crawl spaces into a Disney set. Yeah, okay, that probably went a bit far. But with over 35 years experience, they have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Think Michaelis. And think how nice it would be to get rid of foundation cracks, basement leaks, damp smells, and all the nightmares that come with them. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Black Friday savings are here. Buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa Tires. Save $100 instantly on Cooper Tires and $140 instantly on Michelin Tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The Pacers are back at the Fieldhouse to face the LA Lakers tomorrow evening at 6:30. on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
1, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
This show is on Mass Ave World of Beer with Coors Light. We've got Lakers-Pacers tickets to give away coming up a little bit later on. I want you to sit tight if you want a phone. 239-1070, that would be fantastic. But we would love to see you here to get signed up for those tickets tomorrow. We're going to be in Broad Ripple at Brothers. I've got Buccaneers Colts tickets coming at you tomorrow. Remember, that is normally a Blue Friday. That's a Blue Wednesday coming up tomorrow. Brothers in Broad Ripple, join us there coming up tomorrow afternoon if you want to get some Buccaneers Colts tickets for Sunday. In the meantime, Andy Mora Automotive Group Hotline. He has been on the past couple of weeks. It has worked out so well. Week number 3 with Ben Brown of PFF. He is our NFL scientist again via the Andy Mora Automotive Group Hotline. I know that you've done some digging here. Let's go really deep inside the numbers of just how impressive Jonathan Taylor has been this season and why he should, at the very least right now, be in on any conversation, fringe or otherwise, for MVP. Even though he's not going to win it, nobody's going to hand it to him right now, but a part of the conversation, absolutely. What are those numbers saying to you, Ben?
Say the least, right? Number 1 overall rushing grade in the NFL so far, 2.0 yards before contact. That ranks second in the NFL. I do think that speaks somewhat to the Colts run blocking unit, but that's kind of been a little bit of a league average unit. Taylor, 3.8 yards after contact. That's third highest in the NFL, so he has been tremendous. Obviously, the run blocking has helped some, but I think he's been doing a lot of it on his own. He's right around 35% of his rush attempts have resulted in a first down or a touchdown. That is by far the highest amount we've seen in 2021. That's the second highest amount we've seen in the past decade. The only other person to kind of be close to that number, Mike Gesicki, 2016 Bills year, he only had 101 rush attempts that season. So Taylor's already basically doubled the rush attempts that he had that season. So he has been putting forth a performance at the running back position that we probably haven't seen in nearly a decade. And he gets involved a little bit in the passing game as well. So I don't know if I'm going to crown him as the MVP or anything, but I think if he shows out here against the Buccaneers with their 8th-ranked run defense on Sunday, I do think that noise is going to get a little bit louder here. So I'm excited for it, to be honest.
Yeah, Ben Brown joins us for PFF. Let's talk about them both, too, because the prowess of that Bills run defense was huge going into Sunday. Now, granted, it had not matched up against great competition, but Jonathan Taylor tore that up. And, you know, you get a similar description from Tampa Bay against the run as well. I want to get your thoughts on Sunday and what he did to that Bills run defense, and then your expectations for this Sunday against the Tampa Bay run defense that's pretty strong in its own right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was you know, by far way better than we could have expected against the Bills defense. I do agree with you. I think they were a little bit fraudulent just based on their, you know, schedule that they've played previously. And the Colts really exposed them, right? I do think, you know, Frank Reich kind of set the tone right away, like he has been. Scored on the first drive, which is, you know, like a hallmark for Frank Reich right now. So if they can get off on the right foot here against the Buccaneers, probably score early, especially in that first opening drive, I think that's going to be huge. You know, Vita Vea obviously is a huge part of that interior run defense for the Buccaneers. He missed last night's game against the Giants. If he's out, it sounds like Bruce Arians expects him to play, but if he's at all hindered or anything, I do think this is going to turn into the Jonathan Taylor show, and if they get up early, they could definitely salt away another victory here. So I'm excited. The betting market's moving in their direction a little bit. So times are good to be a Colts fan, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned, too, the offensive line, which was up and down certainly at the beginning. How well did they play, according to your PFF numbers, against that Buffalo defense to pave the way for Jonathan Taylor this past Sunday?
Yeah, they've been like a league average unit this season so far. They did definitely grade out better against the Bills. I think they had like the 4th or 5th best run blocking grade overall for Week 11. I think it was their best run blocking grade of the season. So yeah, basically the last 3 weeks they've had their 3 best games from a run blocking perspective. So things are only looking up. Obviously, Quentin Nelson being back in the fold helps quite a bit. I do think he, you know, still has the lingering ankle injury. But, you know, all signs point to the Colts kind of hitting their stride at the right time. So I think it's good. They control their own destiny in the playoff race. We have them at 58% chance of making the playoffs right now, and I think things are definitely looking up for the Colts.
Who's PFF have up in the hierarchy now of that MVP conversation? Because I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Ben. You know this too. I mean, it changes. I mean, we've gone through a number of, hey, this is the red-hot team right now, only to have them fall the week after that. Same with players. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. We've been up and down this line. Even some maybe had Ryan Tannehill as a game manager up until a point in this season. But where are we as far as the hierarchy of that conversation being had right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think it kind of starts basically with Tom Brady once again. Unfortunately, maybe there's a little bit of, voters fatigue as far as if he's going to win it or not. And then kind of from there, it does seem like a wide open race. I know people have been talking about, who's that critical piece to the Los Angeles Rams offense? Is it Matthew Stafford? Is it more a guy like Cooper Kupp? Is this the year that a wide receiver could potentially win the MVP award? I don't really buy into that. I do think it's probably going to be Matthew Stafford if somebody gets it from the Los Angeles Rams, but I do think those two guys are probably going to siphon some votes away from each other. So I hope it's not a race where Tom Brady runs away with it, but I don't really think there's too many other, really worthwhile candidates, unfortunately, with guys like, Kyler Murray missing time, Dak Prescott probably taking a step or two back, especially last week. So we'll see. Unfortunately, the bias towards some of these primetime performances is what typically puts the MVP candidacy, to one particular position. So
it's Ben Brown of PFF. He is our NFL scientist from PFF on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He works with numbers. And speaking of such, it looks like, according to Bruce Arians, Vita Vea is going to be back. Their defensive lineman for the Buccaneers against the Colts coming up on Sunday. The difference in that defense that you described with and without him, the way things look on that side for Todd Bowles' squad there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different avenue, right? Like, Vita Vea is the type of guy who can take on two defenders in that run game, open up some things for Devin White and some of those linebackers to fill the other gaps, right? And if he's in there, it's a completely different look for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, especially run defense. So if he's playing, which, like you said, Bruce Arians does sound like he is confident he is going to be able to, the Buccaneers are more susceptible in coverage, right? They have a lot of injuries. Jamal Dean's been okay so far. Richard Sherman's, back on IR. Carlton Davis is on IR. So if the Colts potentially are going to be keeping pace with the Buccaneers here on Sunday, it might be a little bit more of a spot where we need to rely on Carson Wentz. And I think, that's how good this Colts team can potentially be, is how well Carson Wentz kind of carrying him in some of these games. And I think we're going to get a little preview of that here on Sunday. And if he's successful, throwing the ball downfield to Michael Pittman, I definitely think it's going to be close, and it's going to probably come down to the final drive here.
Ben Brown of PFF joins us. Are Colts fans, are we seeing, I guess I should ask you this numbers-wise, because it does look like that we are seeing up front defensively an improved group right now. I don't know what it says about the secondary, but certainly up front it looks like these younger guys are starting to evolve for the positive. Do the numbers for you guys at PFF, do they bear that out?
Yeah, they do. They had definitely improved a little bit over the past few weeks. I know we talked about Keefe Pay last week, not necessarily looking like he's going to be that defensive rookie of the year candidate. He did have, the sack/fumble recovery, but it's definitely been a team performance, and I do think, I always preach it, but it does seem like Frank Reich has built this team to be better than the sum of their parts, right? Not a ton of stars on that defensive side, but there's a lot of guys that are making plays. There's 8 different players that have forced a fumble this year. A lot of people getting involved in that turnover, margin differential that we talked about last week a little bit, and it's kind of bearing out in some of our grades, right? I think they've had, 4 of their best pass rush grades have come in the past 5 weeks, basically. It was a little bit lower, against the Buffalo Bills last week, but they've been pretty good, and this was their second best coverage grade of the season so far as well. So I do think the parts are starting to get put in place where they can potentially challenge the Buccaneers and be one of, the first defenses to slow them down here in 2021.
Ben, you mentioned Frank Reich too, and the last month he has been really good at orchestrating at the beginning of games. How big has that been compared to what the rest of the NFL is doing with their initial series of a game?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So over the past 2 seasons, the Colts have by far the highest EPA generated on scripted pass plays in the NFL. So that's the first 15 plays of the game. We look at that. That's kind of, the sequence of plays that they're practicing all week. They have been absolutely phenomenal in those situations. It's not even close to the second-place team. They're third overall in run offense from an EPA perspective in that same metric on those first 15 plays. So the fact that they're able to jump out to those early leads and then rely on the strength of their team, right? Rushing the ball and playing pretty sound, solid defense where they're, either forcing a turnover or getting out of a possession with like a field goal or something like that. So being able to start the game as well as they have with Frank Reich's kind of game plan and, scheme-based work has been basically my takeaway is the key to their success, right? I think that's a little bit of the unsung hero for the Colts that allows them to get out to that early lead that they can then kind of salt away the victories with Jonathan Taylor. So I definitely think that's an overlooked aspect of their success, and it has been that way for the better part of 2 years with Frank Reich, and I do think that is kind of his crown jewel and thing that separates him from the rest of the coaches in the NFL.
It's Ben Brown of PFF. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline with us. Of course, week number 12 has the Buccaneers here in town versus the Colts. We'll see if the Colts can go back-to-back to playoff-worthy teams and then from a defending Super Bowl champion. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz's numbers would not stand out against Buffalo. There's no doubt about that. His quarterback rating was not a high quarterback rating. I maintain that he still played incredibly well, and one of the bigger moments of that game was that scramble, that duck, that run, and then that slide for a first down. I don't know how much consideration numbers-wise goes into looking according to the numbers and then according to me, how well I felt he played. Does that bear out numbers-wise with what we think and how Wentz played this past Sunday in Buffalo?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, right? That 3rd and 10 conversion when he did kind of duck under the pass rush, got and escaped in the pocket is something that we don't typically think that he's kind of capable of doing, right? And he showed that and got a huge 3rd and 10 conversion when they absolutely needed it kind of there at midfield. And that was kind of not necessarily differentiating the game, but the point where it was like, okay, the Colts they're completely in control of this game. So I do think that was a really big play. His passing metrics, kind of like you said, QBR rate and those sorts of things, not great. I think he was basically league average. But he didn't have to be great, right? I mean, it was the Jonathan Taylor show. He hit the throws that he had to hit. Didn't have any really bad throws in any sort of situation that would have caused the Bills to be able to get back into the game. So I don't think you can necessarily take away his performance and say, well, he didn't perform up to our expectation because he was only a league average quarterback, when all we really needed was him to be a league average quarterback to kind of blow out the Bills on Sunday. So I do think this next week against the Buccaneers is the test for Carson Wentz, and I'm excited to see him potentially step up to it, right? I do think this is the reason why they made that trade in the offseason. If he is their guy, he's going to show it here on Sunday, and I do think that's going to go a long way to seeing how successful the Colts are going to be in the playoff race here.
And I say this all the time, and I love the angle because there's not the metrics angle or the mathematics number. The numbers angle is not one that I normally look at. I just go basically by the eyeball. But it is kind of interesting to see, and you've been somebody that touts both sides of it in the past with us too, because there are different ways to look at it, I guess, altogether.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's always different ways to look at it, and the knock on the data is, well, you can kind of make the data say whatever you want to, right, in a lot of situations. So if you want to say a guy sucks, well, I can probably find reasons for why almost anybody sucks in certain situations, right? But if you're looking at the overall picture of this Indianapolis Colts team, they've played really well here recently, and I think that buying into that, getting excited about them, I do think is justifiable based on what we've seen, and going back to it is mainly because of Frank Reich and his ability to not only call successful plays, but put his team in the best position to win as often as possible. And I see the fruits of that labor definitely bearing out here in the last 3 weeks, and I only hope it continues heading into Week 12.
All right, final thing with Ben Brown at PFF. You got that Week 12 matchup with the Buccaneers. The numbers on Tom Brady and obviously Mike Evans, among others, still a big deal. How much better are they? What do the numbers say when Gronkowski's a part of it offensively compared to when he's not?
Yeah, definitely. So he, is kind of a little bit of that missing piece. I do think a guy like Antonio Brown is probably more important to the offense than what Rob Gronkowski brings to them. Obviously, they were pretty successful against the Giants team yesterday, but that Giants team is miserable, right? They're not good whatsoever, weren't really efficient whatsoever offensively, didn't really challenge the Buccaneers defensively either. So I think Gronkowski brings an element, but they really need Antonio Brown to be back if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender again from my perspective. So Gronk maybe shakes up a little bit from the target share perspective, but I do think it only cuts into a guy like Chris Godwin's target share, which is a little bit more unfortunate. So I don't think Gronkowski moves the needle all that much from a numbers perspective. It really needs to be back to a guy like, Antonio Brown, who is this, 33, 34-year-old wide receiver, but he's still playing at an exceptional rate when he is healthy. So that's the guy that makes me the most nervous from the Buccaneers' perspective.
Hey, Ben, what's the playoff data read if the Colts were to win on Sunday, go back-to-back against the Bills and the Buccaneers, compared to what it says right now to what it might be if the Colts were to win on Sunday?
Yeah, definitely. So I can give that to you here right now. We basically have, if they win on Sunday, we have the Colts at roughly like a 70% chance of winning the playoffs, making the playoffs. If they lose, they're right around, I want to say like 42%, so this leverage game, right around 30% chance differential for them. So, yeah, they're like at 75% if they win, right around 42% if they lose. Currently not factoring in anything related to that matchup this weekend. We have the Colts at a 59% chance of making the playoffs. So they are definitely in control of their own destiny. Still alive if they don't win here on Sunday, but it would definitely increase their chances dramatically if they do so.
Ben Brown, he's got the numbers for you. He is our numbers NFL scientist from PFF every Tuesday right here via the Andy Mora Automotive Group hotline. Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was one of those games, at least from a Colts perspective, to where it was the first time in a while. I mean, you kind of sat back and waited to see if they would lose it. But the first time in a while, you could sit back and just kind of watch them run away with it and not have any in-game worries. That doesn't happen against good teams very often.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that is the big takeaway, right? They buried a team that everyone thought was the number one team in the AFC, and there's reasons for them to be confident heading into facing off against the Super Bowl champions here in Week 12. So I'm excited. I'm on board. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm ready to ride this ship down. So,
my guy. Appreciate you, Ben. We'll do it again next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Ben Brown right there from PFF. Hey, the Dogs are trying to make a run. Man, just have the opportunity. I think it was it was Jaden under the goal, got it blocked. They're down 6 right now at the 3-minute mark of the second half. They've been down 5 with an opportunity to cut it even lower a couple of different times, and then got a couple of offensive fouls. I mentioned Jaden Taylor because it's a kid that I know a little bit from Perry Meridian. He has been certainly a spark in the second half for a team that has needed a spark in the second half. They just have been unable. Again, they got possession of the ball with 2.5 and down 6 right now. They get to this point and just cannot get much going against this Texas A&M defense. Again, 2.5 to go. Dogs down by 6 right now. The Maui Invitational, day number 2. And then just got that attempt erased as well. Yeah, the A&M defense stepping up big when it needs to step up big right now. A&M with the ball up 6, 2-minute mark of the second half from the Maui Invitational, which is being played this year in Las Vegas. World of Beer is our location. Coors Light brings us to you, and we have Lakers-Pacers tickets to give away for the matchup coming up tomorrow night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Your chance to win while we are here. Quick break, and we shall return. A Race Trash Anything Goes in the 5 o'clock hour. Derek Schultz, who has an Indianapolis Monthly article that we'll talk about a little bit coming up. And your calls with TJ is going to lead coming up on the other side. 93.5, 107.5. The stream, the app, and inside your car, crystal clear HD radio if you have it. 93.1 WIBC HD2 if you have the means. Check it out. Back with you next.
This weekend, we welcome Peyton's old buddy back to town.
And speaking of rivals, my good friend Tom Brady is here tonight. By the time he is inducted,
don't miss your chance to boo Brady. And yes, we'll be checking the footballs.
When I pick those balls out, to me, they're perfect. I don't want anyone touching the balls after that.
The Colts welcome the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers to town Sunday. Our pregame starts with JMV at 9 o'clock. Matt Taylor with the kickoff at 1. Your home for Colts football is 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Big Red Liquors got you covered. Month of November. They're going to close it out. They've been giving away 7 in all big-time Visa gift cards. $500 have been given away, 7. They continue to do that until the end of the month of November, and you can sign up at any of the 59 Big Red Liquors locations throughout the state of Indiana, too. No purchase necessary, but you have to be 21, and let's face it, you're going to go anyway because great gift-giving ideas, that's exactly what you're going to find at all the Big Red Liquors locations, and coming up in December, they're going to go even better. Something that is very winter appropriate in their big giveaway coming up in the month of December. Big Red Liquors. For more info online, bigredliquors.com today.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Black Friday savings are here. Buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa tires. Save $100 instantly on Cooper tires and $140 instantly on Michelin tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Billy Idol and Steve Stevens, one of rock's most successful and enduring duos. Now, see them live in 2021. Turned on, tuned in, and unplugged. Saturday, November 27th, 7 p.m. Mora Theater at Old National Center. On sale now. Get tickets at livenation.com or the Old National Center box office. Don't miss it.
Hey, Diamonds Direct kicks off the holiday shopping season with an awesome promotion that you're absolutely going to love. Are you ready? That starts on Black Friday. 4-year, 0-interest financing on any holiday purchase. That's right. You can spread your payments over 4 years without paying a dime in interest. This is fantastic for you fellas right here. How about a new engagement ring, a bigger diamond, an elegant pair of diamond earrings, stunning diamond eternity band? You can go big this holiday season and be the hero. When's the last time you're the hero of the holiday season? Hasn't happened very much. It can this year with our friends at Diamonds Direct. Black Friday it starts. 4 years, 0-interest financing. That is Diamonds Direct. Online for more, diamondsdirect.com. It's Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. This year, our average client received over $52,000 with an easy cash-out refinance. What would you do with an extra $52,000? Pay off those high-interest rate credit cards? Maybe start a business? Or knock out those home improvement projects? Let's make those dreams a reality today. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. Apply for your cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, this is Jeff Saturday, and you've heard me talk about Mora Restoration for years. And yes, it's true, I've used Mora Restoration on my home 3 separate times for a fire and flooding. I care about my family, and Mora made me feel confident in using them. Kenny and the team at Mora have just become a part of First On Site, making them one of the largest restoration companies in Indiana and North America. Same people, same personal customer service, but large enough to handle any loss, any disaster with First On Site. When you need help, call the people Jeff Saturday calls. Call Mora Restoration, a First On-Site company.
Hey, PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. If you want the option of your real growing hair, 888-724-5129 today. Get with Darren Andrews and find out more about how you can get your real growing hair. Hey, just like old times, you and your real growing hair with PAI. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Now, you don't get to play as much as the offense and defense, but it must be cool to be called special teams. It just sounds good. What team are you on? The special team. That's tight, right? Oh, if you're a fan of special teams, you can just bet on those. My sportsbook app has prop bets, so have at it, people. It's a special app, people.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Black Friday's on at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Everything's 50 to 70% off. Plus, shop all new doorbusters, including 60% off sweaters and cozy add-ons. Shop the sale through November 27th at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com.
Hey, John here for Connecticut Water. 2 locations, and now's a great time of year with Joe, John, and Dennis to get yourself the best water possible. So if you've been thinking about it, take advantage of the great deals going on right now. With the Premier Series water softener, the K5 in-home drinking water station, and all of those accessories at Connecticut. The 2 locations, Northeast Side Castleton, South Side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app. Download that to your smartphone or device today or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
BullseyeEventGroup.com. Colts VIP tailgate has always been the best and still is, but did you know now, anytime, you can get Colts game day tickets? Log on, BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Crew Car Wash books make the perfect gift for anyone on your list. The Ultimate Book is on sale now for buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Purchase at any Crew Car Wash location today.
This is what you missed if you haven't been listening to Indy's Home for Sports.
This is a monster day for Indianapolis.
Thought it was going to be possible. On your radio.
And it's an over-the-shoulder grab into the end zone for a touchdown.
On the Fan app, you're listening to the best of Kevin and Query on your smart speaker.
You're listening to 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
On your phone.
I mean, what? That is a lot of cash.
I guess you're all out of excuses. Listen anytime you want.
Just listen to that.
To The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
And you can tell Rolling Stone magazine that my last words were, I'm on drugs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Jim Mora, 20 years ago, I was actually there. Shout out to Tim Bragg for asking the question back then. And that sparked usage that never, ever gets old, never, ever gets tired, but also sparks something that Colts fans have gotten used to. And want to get re-involved with again, and that is consistently winning organizationally on the field, as, for example, they did on Sunday up in Buffalo. By the way, too, 55-50. It's A&M over Butler right now with 5 seconds remaining in that Maui Invitational in Vegas. World of Beer, Mass Ave, Coors Light, chance at Lakers, Pacers tickets. Reason why we're going back in with that, because Derek Schultz, who does a variety of things, including writes for Indianapolis Monthly on the 5th floor of our MS Worldwide headquarters, joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Perfect, right? I mean, 20 years ago, and after reading a lot of what you had written regarding that anniversary of the Mora press conference tirade, a lot of that makes sense. I mean, that was kind of a stepping stone to what ended up being a championship era with Polian, with Manning, and then once Dungy got on board.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by it because it's kind of one of those things, JMV, where everybody just focuses on that one clip, right? Playoffs, and I think that even a lot of longtime Colts fans, even if they knew this at the time, they probably had forgotten about what all went into that rant and why he was so amped up. And it really had nothing to do with the playoffs. It was Vic Fangio and his relationship with Manning and the turnover machine that was the 2001 Colts. So I've always been fascinated by what ifs, and I've thought about that a lot where, you know, Mora, clearly the Colts were on the precipice of what they became, and had Mora maybe fired Vic Fangio and hung on, I don't know, maybe he gets gassed in 2002 if they have the embarrassing loss to the Jets that they had under Dungy in year one. But if he hangs on for just a little bit longer, maybe he's the guy that ends up in the Hall of Fame or is the guy that we're talking about as the greatest Colts coach in history instead of Dungy.
Yeah, it seemed like that was going to be back then, at least to me, and I was in the early stages of certainly doing this and riding shotgun at the time with Mark Patrick. It seemed like that the outcome that happened with Mora was going to be the logical outcome, if that makes sense, Derek.
Yeah, No, and I totally get that. I mean, I'm really reaching, I think, to say that Mora, and even given his age at the time, I mean, he was into his mid-60s at that point, so he probably wouldn't even have held on as long as Dungy ended up. And, of course, it ended up being his last job. But clearly, at least according to him, and I don't know if Polian has ever backed this up, they were willing to give him a fifth year, and it was something that he ended up declining. And who knows? That Manning relationship probably was irreparable at that point, and so maybe things would have gone south no matter what, as you said.
Did you talk to Tim Bragg about asking the question?
You know, I reached out. It's funny because The Ringer basically did the same exact piece. It was less Colts-centric, but they did a 20-year anniversary piece, which I didn't even realize until I saw that they released one this morning, and Tim spoke for that. He also got Kevin Bowen, of course, your coworker there. Greg Rakestraw, who apparently was in the room too, who's now a coworker of mine.
I was actually there.
Yeah,
so I was there too. Matter of fact, I remember it vividly. So
what was kind of were you thinking at the same time, oh my God, this is going to be like a viral thing that we talk about for decades from now?
No, it was funny. I kind of laughed because I thought at the time, and I love Bragg, I thought, what a dumbass question that was. You know what I mean? but I mean, he was on RTV6 at the time. I'd work with him. He's a great dude. And I thought, man, he really just asked that. And I thought that was kind of the, why are you even asking that right now, spark that began it all for Mora. But I'm glad. You know, in hindsight, 20 years later, with all the fun we've had with that, and then really what's gone down with this Colts organization and team since that point in time, I'm glad. I wouldn't want to live in a world where he didn't ask that question. Know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, because it ended up all working out. You wouldn't change any of the things that happened or any of the dominoes that fell from that point. You might change some dominoes when you get into the teens, like the 2015 around there. I think there are some things that, looking back, you'd want to change around. But certainly from 2002 on, and the hiring of Dungy and the drafting of Freeney and Mathis and the core of that team coming together as Pro Bowlers and perennial All-Pros, you wouldn't change any of that stuff for the world.
Yeah, well, that's how I think about it too. I mean, that era ended when they decided to cut Peyton Manning, and that's kind of where it all ends. I mean, that is the carrot that they're still chasing right now. I mean, that's part of, doing what they did on Sunday is what they did all the time during that era. You know what I mean? And that's what they're trying to change right now and get back to, when we used to get mad because, they didn't win 13 games or 14 games, when you would yawn because they would win their division. That's what they're trying to get back to now. That's just how great, once that you had that Mora tirade, he moved on, Dungy came in, it became old hat. And that's certainly the era where everything from here on out for which it will be measured.
Yeah, it's funny because, for let's say somebody your son's age, it's hard to explain to a younger Colts fan what Sundays were like from 04 to 09 because for the most part, it was shocking when they would lose. Like, people freaked out on Mondays when they would lose games. And it was always going to be like, remember Vinatieri missed that 22-yard field goal in San Diego and they lost that game. It was always some kind of heartbreaking fourth quarter, you never expected, they never got run off the field or anything like that, it felt like, with those teams, and it was a real compliment. I just really bristle when people bring up, well, they only won one. I just think that really discredits how good they were for so long. And you think about where they are now and the roller coaster ride that it's been, especially since 2015, you would happily go back to having stress-free Sundays every Sunday. At least I would, and go back to that era. I just hate it when people paint it as some sort of a disappointment because I think it really takes away from all that they did accomplish.
Well, and normally those people are just huge dumbasses. Honestly, Derek, you know what I mean? I mean, they are, and they have zero recollection of what it was like up until that point in time. I mean, none. That's back when if you won a game, you'd have, Duke Tomato singing songs and, guys not having sex until the Colts won, and up on billboards as promotions until they won. They were a punchline. it was a clown show. It was a circus. It was a joke until that point in time. And those that always go to it should have been more than one, have no idea what it was like prior to that and should just shut up.
I think it has a lot to do with, and we kind of ran into this with the NBA with Jordan, like we did with Brady. People look at the most extreme outlier example and think that should be normal. And they think, well, the Patriots won whatever they won. What did they win? 6? My God. Yeah. Well, they won 6. So we only had 1. Yeah, that's not normal, though. You're lucky that you had 1. Think about the Cubs. We assumed that the Cubs were going to win like 2 or 3 once they rattled off 1, and it ended up being just 1. So I don't know. Hopefully, with what's happened to the franchise in the last 7 or 8 seasons, I think people have kind of come around to maybe appreciate that era a little bit more. But I'm optimistic that maybe things are pointing up for them, because I've felt all along that they have the right brain trust with Ballard and Reich. It's just about getting the results to match up with that, and hopefully we're going to see that kind of come to fruition with the last half of this year.
Derek Schultz joins us, the ISC network. You can see he and Jake Query, one half of our morning team on there. They taped something, I think, on Monday. Does that roll on Monday evenings or Tuesday evenings?
Yeah, Mondays. So it used to be Tuesdays, but now Mondays at 7:30. And I'm thrilled for Jake, by the way. It's been great listening to him. You know this. You're buddies with him. He deserves to be back on the air, and so I was thrilled to hear the news that he'd be back.
Who hadn't reached out to you yet about talking up this article coming from a periodical, a magazine, if you will, in his own building? Has he not reached out to you to get you on the show?
No, he only talks to me when a payment or something like that is late, and he has to have me kind of make the call to figure that out. So that's the only time that I really hear from Jake.
Oh man, I talked to him. I talked to him on the way in. He was down there hanging with our mutual friend Darren King, I think, down in Greenwood. So
yeah, Darren's a character. If he's listening right now, shout out to Darren.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. There's no doubt about that. But now I find it interesting. Now you're going to have to do one of the Bill Poley and Jay Moore thing at some point.
That's
too.
Right,
now.
Man. Because that would be 20 years. What, December? Sometime early December, right?
Yeah. I was right there for that one too. It was a hell of a year. See, that's what happens when you go tremendously below expectations like that. I mean, that's just all the type of stuff, and that's before social media and really hardcore internet usage. I mean, all that FUBAR happened. I mean, can you imagine if that year happened at a time with the technology that we have right now? That'd be incredible.
Yeah, but it goes back to your point, John, where it was a circus, man. The first 18 years of the Colts, from Bob Irsay and flying off the hinges all the time, and Jim Irsay's in the weight room with the players. You know what I mean? It was a mess. Quentin Coriat and everything else that kind of came with it. The Jeff George era, and even though I like Jeff George a great deal now, but as a player, obviously that whole thing didn't work out. And I just think Mora and that rant was kind of like the last moment of the pre-Peyton. I know that was year 4 for Peyton, but to me, it just kind of marked the last moment of the pre-Peyton Manning era Colts. And so many fans are lucky that they don't have to remember that, because outside of 95, it was a lot of, oh my God, this again?
It's funny, man, Derek, when somebody brings up, the fans are just spoiled. Again, they have no idea. No idea that the only thing that you had to lean on as a Colts fan in the pre-Manning era, once they got here to the time when Manning joined the team, was a Monday night on Halloween against Denver, and that incredible type of Haley's Comet run at the end of the 95 season that got them all the way to the AFC title game. That postseason that started in San Diego, went to Kansas City, and then ended on that final play in Pittsburgh. That's basically it. I mean, that is basically it. And the one thing, I mean, you still celebrate. It's like the Gordon Hayward 2010 half-court miss. It's celebrated like the Aaron Bailey off his chest in the end zone Hail Mary. It's celebrated even though those are both plays that failed.
Yeah, and it was just so shocking that the Colts were playing where they were playing a game where they would win and reach the Super Bowl. Like, it was just hard to even comprehend that they had even gotten that far. And now it's like the expectation, you fall short of that, you suck. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Derek,
everybody expects that every year.
I'm going to tell you what, those 3 weeks and that AFC title game in Pittsburgh went so fast, you could hardly keep up with it. I mean, you couldn't get to the Zach Crockett storyline in San Diego. You start talking about that, and then you're on to, the Lynn Elliott couldn't hit a field goal and the frozen Arrowhead crappy stadium stuff, and then, Pittsburgh with the Colts having that in hand and then losing it, and Cordell Stewart stepping out of the back of the end zone and catching a touchdown pass, and then ultimately, that Hail Mary. I mean, it went so fast. I mean, there was really you couldn't even have time to enjoy it. It was incredible.
It's so funny because I was like 13. I was in 6th or 7th grade, and my next door neighbors in Connecticut were all from Pittsburgh. And so we went over to their house to watch that game. And, as a kid, I remember thinking, the Colts? What? Like, you weren't even expecting them to actually be in that game. And the fact that it was that close, and I remember all of it, Cordell Stewart running out of bounds. Like, you remember every moment because, of course, they all, live in infamy now. But the Colts had so many other moments that kind of came after that with that Peyton era, and it's fun to look back. It's not particularly fun to look back at that game at Three Rivers, but for the most part, that era of Colts football was really fun, and I'm glad people are starting to appreciate it all over again.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Derek Schultz has an article in Indianapolis Monthly regarding the 20 years, and I say we celebrate it, the 20-year celebration of the post-game loss by the Colts head coach Jim Mora rant, which still to this day is one of the most incredible rants of all time. Hey, let people know, I want people to go to it and read it. What else surprised you, stood out to you about looking back on this and doing that deep dive as you did going back 20 years?
Well, I think that rant, it almost comes off like Mora is this incompetent dolt, right? Because a lot of times with those press conference rants, it involves guys who were really bad at their job, like Mike Singletary or people like that. And he actually wasn't. He did a great job with the Saints in the 80s, a franchise that hadn't won anything and made them respectable. He did a good job here. It just ended up being kind of a bad fit. But here he was, a former Marine, a principled, good man, and he decided to fall on the sword for a friend of his who he didn't think deserved to get fired, even though he knew that Polian and Irsay were going to fire Vic Fangio. So I've always felt like it was one of those decisions that was very commendable, and he never got credit for it because it's just lost in all of the laughter over the playoffs rant, where I feel like Mora should be remembered for making the right decision as a man, even if he sacrificed Jim Mora, the football coach, to make that decision.
Hey, man, that's good stuff. I appreciate you writing that because had I not noticed it, I probably wouldn't even have thought about it until we'd gone past the time right now. But that's certainly in a lot of ways very interesting to check out. Now, will Jake call at any point after our conversation here? Are you going to get a text?
Yeah, we'll see. We still have some outlying payments probably, so that he wants to talk to me about. No, it's been good. I'm glad that we've gotten to keep it alive, and I'm glad that it's been allowed to be kept alive, just kind of as a once a week sort of a thing while he does the morning show thing. But you know this. I mean, he and I have become really good buddies, but again, because a lot of people were like, they were acting like I got dumped or something, and I'm like, no, man, like Jake needs health insurance. You know what I mean? He's going to have to get another job, and so I was thrilled for him when. I think it says a lot about him as a host, the fact that literally the first real opening after our show ended up going to Jake.
Yeah. So, health insurance for real. After last year, my man definitely needs some health insurance.
Yeah, right?
So I don't need any more. I know you feel the same way. I don't want any more of those calls coming at me. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah, what a scare that was, man. But, of course, just that's how life works for Jake. Everything, he's fine, 100%, no repercussions. Like, things have been pretty good in the life of Jake Query for the most part.
It is. Hey, great job with that and all that you do. The ISC Network with Greg Rakestraw, you're doing a fantastic job, you guys, with that. And your gig at Indianapolis Monthly, I know you're doing a podcast with the Indianapolis Star. Keep it going, brother. Appreciate you. Drop by whenever you can.
Happy Thanksgiving, my man. Thanks a lot.
Right back to you. It's Derek Schultz right there, friend of the show. A variety of formats in which he does reach you. And the latest is in Indianapolis Monthly. It's an article regarding 20 years since the Mora playoffs ran. You can check it out in the Indianapolis Monthly. Quick break, and we shall return. TJ on the other side. Hey, we're live at World of Beer with Coors Light. We've got a pair of tickets for tomorrow night's Pacer game to give away for you, Lakers and the Pacers. That and more. Quick break on Mass Ave. Back with you next.
This weekend, we welcome Peyton's old buddy back to town.
And speaking of rivals, my good friend Tom Brady is here tonight. By the time he is inducted,
don't miss your chance to boo Brady. And yes, we'll be checking the footballs.
When I pick those balls out, to me, they're perfect. I don't want anyone touching the balls after that.
The Colts welcome the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers to town Sunday. Our pregame starts with JMV at 9 o'clock. Matt Taylor with the kickoff at 1. Your home for Colts football is 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, JMV here for Ray's Trash Service. If you have a valid Class A, B, or commercial driver's license, I want you to listen up to this because Ray's Trash Service, they're now hiring, offering industry-leading pay and benefits for those qualified drivers that are out there. And the openings do include rear load, front load, roll-off drivers. You can check all of these opportunities out online. RaysTrash.com, a great company. Family run since the 60s and the area's largest independent recycling and waste solutions provider. Now, in addition to the great driving opportunities, Ray's also has several career openings that may be a great fit for you. So apply today. RaysTrash.com will do the anything goes Ray's Trash style coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But if you're looking for a new gig, RaysTrash.com today.
Come to Downtown Indy Inc.'s Circle of Lights, presented by IBEW Local 481, November 26 on Monument Circle. 1075thefan.com to learn more. Happy holidays.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This holiday at Metro by T-Mobile, the big 5G upgrade just got better because now Metro has the largest selection of free 5G phones in prepaid, like the Samsung Galaxy 5G. And Metro gives you one line of unlimited 5G data for just $25 a month, with 5G included at no extra cost. So you'll be able to stream, snap, upload, and share the holiday cheer all season. Ring in the holidays with the big 5G upgrade from Metro. Get unlimited 5G and a brand new 5G phone when you switch and trade in. More choices on free 5G phones, more savings, and more 5G coverage at no extra cost. All with the power of the T-Mobile 5G network. That's how you get more for the holidays. Only at Metro. After 24 months, $25 price may increase. Limited time in store only. No tethering. Unlimited on network only. Required port from eligible carrier of congested data users greater than 35 gigabytes per month. Notice lower speeds, and Metro customers notice lower speeds versus T-Mobile due to deprioritization. Video at 480p. See store for details.
Feast this Thanksgiving Day by winning $150 on a $5 bet when you join FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers, this is your opportunity to gobble up the 30-1 odds and just place your first bet on any NFL team to win Thanksgiving Day. You got the Bears and the Lions, right? Everybody excited about that matchup. Raiders and the Cowboys, Bills and the Saints. Let me tell you this, regardless, going with FanDuel Sportsbook makes this even more fun, more enjoyable. Just use that promo code JMV and celebrate Thanksgiving by winning $150 at a $5 bet. Remember, the promo code is JMV, 21 plus and present in Indiana. New users only $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Don't miss Hellsberg Diamond's best Black Friday ever sale. Up to 65% off can't-fail gifts for a limited time only. Grant their holiday wishes with sparkling diamond studs and pendants, a lab-created sapphire gift set, and more at up to 65% off. And here's a gift for you, a free Nintendo Switch Lite with a purchase of $699.99 or more. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you. Offer valid November 23rd through December 1st while supplies last. See online or in-store for details.
Here's what's happening with the Fan.
It's a special Wednesday edition of Bud Light Blue Friday this week at Brothers in Broad Ripple. Drink ice-cold Bud Light and sign up for your chance to win Colts tickets as JMV broadcast live. Bud Light, brewed for the Colts and their fans. Join JMV at World of Beer downtown this Tuesday as he looks ahead to the Colts game and gives you the chance to win Pacers versus Lakers tickets on Wednesday night.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com.
Hey. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you yelling at me? Don't yell at me. I'm on the air.
I said the meters are broken.
Oh, the meters. Oh, I got you, Kyle. Hey, I know it took me 5 minutes too. Sorry about that, Kyle. I got somebody that's complaining to me here about the meters, and they are indeed. But here's something you cannot complain about. It is the greatness that is the local company, Lance and his team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526, because they always have your back. Let's just say, kind of like what my man was just explaining, something does go haywire in your home with your plumbing. You know that service, that emergency service is going to come right over 24/7, 365, and make sure you get back on track. No matter the situation, Lance and his local team, they're the best. 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you. Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
The IHSAA Football State Finals, Friday and Saturday at noon on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
World of Beer, Mass Ave, Coors Light, pair of Lakers Pacers tickets for tomorrow night to give away. Derek Schultz, thank you very much. Ben Brown, PFF, thank you. Greg Rakestraw as well. TJ, before the top of the hour, we'll talk some Pacers with our guy Alex Golden from Setting the Pace after 5. TJ's in at 239-1070. Hello, TJ.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since the Colts have taken on Tom Lombardi, and I just wanted to go over his stat line. He was 34-44 for 350, 3 TDs, 2 picks. In 5 years, Chris Ballard has used 3 first-round picks, 6 second-round picks. The question to you is, this Sunday, are his stats better, the same, or worse than they were 4 years ago?
Worse than they were 4 years ago. And thank you, TJ, for the call. I appreciate that. To me, I still there are more reasons to feel good about it than there not. And granted, listen, we all want it right away. We all want that instant gratification. Frankly, I shouldn't say I need it. You guys deserve it. I don't necessarily deserve it. But everybody wants it, right? There's no question about that. The problem is it has taken more time than a lot of people had wished. I don't even know if they're there yet because they're still just 6-5. But in a week-to-week type of situation, NFL-wise, in this season, you're playing off of something that was really good on Sunday. And when you look at the players that they have at those positions that you were talking about, you feel good, I think, more now than you did. I'll tell you what, we'll double back to that question coming up, TJ. That's a good one on the other side. I mentioned Alex Golden as well, setting the pace. Pace is a big win in Chicago last night. For those of you that did not see it, we'll talk about it, break it down, and I'll ask Alex if he felt that Rick Carlisle benching the starters on Friday, and Charlotte has led them down to this 2 consecutive win path. Alex Golden's going to join us from Setting the Pace. A little Pacer conversation on the other side, and Raise Trash, Anything Goes also in the 5 o'clock hour. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home values up, you can get more cash out now.
Call 317-706-GOLD today and make no mortgage payments until next year.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, BullseyeEventGroup.com. Colts VIP tailgate's going to be a big one coming up on Sunday with the Buccaneers in town. 10 a.m., doors open. I'll be there at 9 to welcome everybody in, and then you got all you can eat, all you can drink. And you got DJ Skids, DJ Helicon. You can also get those passes right now. You can get game day tickets, and right now you can get anytime game day tickets for any Colts game with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Combo that up if you like to with passes to the Colts VIP tailgate, but any of those Colts tickets you need, BullseyeEventGroup.com right now. But we're talking about the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Log on and make sure you're there this Sunday at 10 a.m. with BullseyeEventGroup.com.
If it's after lunch, I probably wouldn't have fed them to the Titans. I get a little ornery when I'm hungry, and timing is everything, people. That's why my Sportsbook app has live in-game betting for football. I don't care if the game has already started. If the time to make your move is in the second half, go for it. Caesar's got to. Caesar likes to move freely. That's why I'm partial to the total.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, this is Jeff Saturday, and you've heard me talk about Mora Restoration for years. And yes, it's true, I've used Mora Restoration on my home 3 times for fire and flooding. I care about my family, and Mora made me feel confident in using them. Kenny and the team at Mora have just become part of First On Site, making them one of the largest restoration companies in Indiana and North America. Same people, same personal customer service, but large enough to handle any loss, any disaster with First On Site. When you need help, call the people Jeff Saturday calls. Call Mora Restoration, a First On Site company.
John, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Big Red Liquors, because this is no laughing matter. I want you to win big, and they're doing the big giveaways every month of November, a $500 Visa gift card to the winner. All you got to do is sign up any of the 59 Big Red Liquors locations. No purchase necessary, but you have to be 21, and you can win a $500 Visa gift card. And let me tell you this, another big giveaway is coming up in the month of December, and you're going to love this, very winter appropriate with Big Red Liquors. 59 locations. For more info on how you can win big, it's BigRedLiquors.com today.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
Hi, I'm hosting the holidays at my house this year, and I'm looking for something green.
We've got tons of ways to help you save water, lower your electricity bill, or reduce waste to help you live more sustainably this holiday season.
Oh, I was thinking more like green, like a chartreuse or like holly.
Ah, well, we have those too.
You know what? I'll check out that green stuff first.
This year at IKEA, Black Friday is going green. Check out IKEA Green Friday at your local IKEA store or IKEA-USA.com/Green Friday.
There has never been a better time to work at Amazon. They are offering sign-on bonuses up to $3,000 and pay up to $24.50 per hour. Many jobs come with great benefits that start on your first day. And Amazon offers a variety of paths for career growth. They have flexible shifts and schedules, and you can start in as little as 7 days, so you'll be earning extra income just in time for the holidays. Go to Amazon.com/apply to get started today. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
888-724-5129. Glorious and real with your hair. If you looked in the mirror and you said, hey, what's going on here? I'm losing my hair. And you want the options to do something about it, this is how you do just that. 888-724-5129. Private consultation with Darren Andrews today with WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Black Friday savings are here. Buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa Tires. Save $100 instantly on Cooper Tires and $140 instantly on Michelin Tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
As our troops are coming home, every business should be finding ways to thank and honor them for their service. We created the Hero Loan. HeroLoan.com.
NMLS number 1326-241.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
The Colts host the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
JMV does not suck at all.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I'm trying to get Kyle Knezevich fired up right here. Hey, what's Tuesday night without getting Kyle Knezevich fired up inside World of Beer right now, man? Here he is. Coors Light brings us to you. Lakers Pacers tomorrow night. I've got tickets for you coming up here at the end of the show. Great to see everybody here off of Mass Ave. I'm glad somebody else also struggled with the meter. I've never, ever in my life gotten those meters to work for me. Every single time I've got to send out somebody much younger than me to work it. Today it was Caitlin because Sienna didn't want to do it, but Caitlin did. Thank you very much. Because I spent 15 minutes yelling at it out there, and nobody wants to see some old man yelling at a meter that he can't work. So shout out to Caitlin for doing that. Cam's the on-site engineer. Kyle Unomark is back at the station, and again, we are here. Tomorrow we've got Buccaneers and Colts tickets to give away. That is Brothers in Broad Ripple coming up tomorrow. That is going to be a big one, so hopefully we'll see everybody out there before the Thanksgiving holiday. Meantime, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Big win for the Pacers last night. Hey, the Bulls, they're legit. And the Pacers on both ends legitimately dismissed that team at the UC last night. And joining us, it's Alex Golden of Setting the Pace. How much do you think, if at all, honestly, what Rick Carlisle did in benching the starters, saying what he said after the game in Charlotte on Friday night? Listen, New Orleans sucks. They're a 3-win team. I mean, you could win that with anybody, I think, on the court at home on Saturday. But last night did seem a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I thought the benching was hopefully a wake-up call for that group, right? They've been playing bad. They've been playing a lot of games, 8 games in 8 different arenas over that stretch there, and so it was probably just a breath of fresh air to come home finally, beat up on a bad Pelicans team. But that game against Chicago, I knew Chicago was undermanned a little bit with Vucevic being out and Caruso being out, but I did not think that the game would go as it did. The Pacers just completely dominated on every area of the game, and it was just fantastic to see them all playing so well and look like they're actually having fun again.
Yeah, and that's what winning and success certainly will do for you. It did not look like they're having a great deal of fun in Detroit, nor did it look that way in Charlotte. The thing that I think concerned me the most above all else is there was zero energy. I mean, they had zero energy, and those teams aren't that great. I mean, Charlotte definitely better than Detroit. I thought no reason why they lose the game in Detroit in the fashion in which they did, but that's what stood out to me, Alex, was just the lack of energy they had that clearly they did regain on Saturday and had last night from end to end on the road against a good Bulls team.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the last 2 games and how they played, that's how you want to see them come out against really every team, but especially the teams that aren't very good, like Detroit, or like a couple weeks ago when they lost to the Nuggets without 3 starters. This Pacers team right now, they're climbing out of a hole, so they're not good enough to be taking nights off and going through the motions. It doesn't matter who they're playing or who's on their schedule. They've got to focus and just take each game one at a time, kind of similar to the Colts mentality of 1-0. Because right now, this Eastern Conference, it's pretty stacked, it's pretty balanced, and the Pacers they've got a nice home stretch here, but they play some tough teams during that stretch. So while I was impressed with last night's win, especially over the Bulls, you have to take into consideration that they had just played a really tough game against the Knicks, who are probably one of the most physical teams in the NBA, and they were without 3 starters or 3 of their key players as well. So I think for me, I don't want to overreact in terms of the Pacers are back, but I do think that right now give them about 3 or 4 more games, see what they can do, and if they're still playing well at that point, then I think, okay, maybe that benching in Charlotte was a turning point. We can talk about that in a couple of weeks being that turning point. But right now, I think it's just too small of a sample size to really say, this team is where we want them to be at.
Yeah, no doubt about it, too. And it's so much different when you're talking about, professionals other than those at lower levels in which that stuff may work. It's hard to believe that stuff may work at that level. But as I said at the start of the show, Alex, if it's working, it's working. Well, no matter what it is. It's like, Bull Durham, the scene of, if you're winning games because there's fungus on your shower shoes, then keep the fungus on your shower shoes because that's the reason why you're winning. So whatever helps that team win and whatever works for them works for them. The small sample size, Alex, we have seen with LeVert and Brogdon together. What do you make of it? What do you like? What you don't like about it from what you've seen to this point?
Yeah, I thought in the Pelicans game it was kind of rough for Karis LeVert. Felt like he didn't really get into a great rhythm. He only played like the first 5 minutes of the first and the third quarters. Then he was brought out for Duarte. Then he came back with about, I think, 8 minutes left in the second quarter. So his minutes have been a little bit different. I feel like Carlisle even said this. He's not calling plays anymore, so he's letting them play. I feel like LeVert, and it's not a bad thing, but sometimes he can be a bit of a ball stopper. But at the same time, he's really the only guy on the roster that can go down and get you a bucket when there's nothing really working for you offensively. He's probably the best isolation player they have right now. So while he does have some flaws in terms of being a ball stopper, you do need him at times to be that guy, to be that isolation scorer. In terms of Brogdon, I think Brogdon has looked pretty good over the last couple of games, being able to knock down his three at a higher rate, not always having to have the ball in his hands, but making plays, not overlooking for a shot. I know sometimes there's been games where he'll have close to 15, 18 shot attempts, and I think he's better in that 8 to 13 range, just not over-dominating the ball. I think being able to share it is the best way to go. And so those two together, I think they can play well together. But defensively, they're going to struggle sometimes when they're going up against quicker guards. But I think right now we're still learning those two and what they're going to become. But I do like what I've seen so far.
Alex Golden has a podcast, and you can find him setting the pace with a lot of Pacers content if you're looking for that. Joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Duarte, the rookie, has looked good. Obviously, I don't know if he's hit a wall, but there have been some struggles. He's dealt with a bum shoulder. Is he going to continue to come off the bench, do you think? Will he get back into the starting lineup? How do you think that will work? And, again, you look at Justin Holiday. Will he maintain because he's played better in the starting lineup? Will he go back to the bench? How do you juggle this lineup-wise if you're Rick Carlisle?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if Duarte does come back into the starting lineup. It depends on how this team continues to play with Justin in there at the starting, as a starting guard right there next to Brogdon and LeVert. But with Duarte, I don't know if you noticed last night, but there was multiple times where he was kind of grabbing his shoulder and rubbing it still. So I know he's back from that injury, but I'm curious what the issue is there. If it's a sprain, if it's a strain, what's going on with it? How severe is it? Is it just sore? Is there something internally wrong? Hey, maybe he should sit out a few more games, let it rest. I'm not sure. They haven't really addressed it much, but I think so far with Duarte, that could be a lot of the reason he's been struggling is shooting the ball with a sore shoulder is probably not fun. So he's still being aggressive. I think rebound-wise and assist-wise, he had 6 rebounds, 3 assists last night. That's what you want to see from him. In terms of his role, I think Carlisle addressed it, basically said that they felt like there was too many guys in the lineup that needed the ball to be successful. So if you put Duarte on the bench and maybe give him a bigger role there in the offense, it'll help him grow a little bit as a player. But, Justin Holiday, he's a guy that's been really hot and cold this year. There's been games where he's looked fantastic from 3 and then games where he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And Carlisle, I think he said this after the Sixers win. He was like, yeah, we looked at the numbers, and Justin Holiday is just a much better player off the bench. And then literally a week later, he puts him right back in the starting lineup. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I think if they're going to win and continue to win with this lineup, they won't make any drastic changes. And then, of course, we know T.J. Warren's coming back probably in the month of December at some point. So it'd probably be easier for Chris Duarte to get accustomed to that bench role already right now, so that way when Warren does come back, he's not having to adjust later into the season.
Alice Golden joins us. Have you crunched the numbers to this degree? How often do the Pacers win if Myles does not have a good game?
I haven't crunched the numbers, but it feels like not very often. I feel like, and Myles even talked about it a little bit on a podcast that he was on this past week, but just his confidence level. Like, he just said that he's playing with more confidence this year, and you can see it. When defensively, he's always been really good. Like, that's always been one of the things that you can hang your hat on. But offensively, just his involvement, like, it doesn't always have to be like, hey, let me go shoot 20 times a game, but 9 shots, puts up, 12 points, 14 points last night, 10 rebounds. So that's the kind of Myles I like to see. The scoring to me is important to a certain degree, but I'm more concerned with the rebounds and block shots, because if he can get down there and be an enforcer in terms of rebounding and blocking shots, that's only going to open up his game. And I like what we saw from him in that Pelicans game too. We saw the great dunk over 3 Pelicans. That was just an energy play. And if Myles can do that more, and when he does that kind of stuff, the team plays so much better. He impacts the game. But I think when Myles, when he's not in it mentally and he's getting kind of flustered by a shot not going in, not getting enough touches, that kind of thing, then I think it does impact his overall play, which impacts the team's overall play. So, yeah, I think he's looked really good. But I also think the last 2 games they've ran the offense through Domas a little bit more, and I feel like they hadn't been doing that as much. But when Domas has the ball in his hands on the offensive side of things, I think the Pacers look much, much better.
Yeah, I would say the same. Obviously, I have not looked at the numbers at all, but it's certainly, watching game after game, it looks to me like whenever he doesn't have a good game, then the Pacers normally do not win those games. And I've said this all along, too. I mean, his level of confidence and energy is very reliant on how well he feels on the offensive end, how much he's doing, how many touches he is getting, if that shot's going in. And it's been that way forever. And like everybody always tries to say, well, you got to get Myles on the block in the back of the basket. It's never going to be that way. I mean, if he's going to go to the block, he's going to run to it and then jump up in the air. I mean, it's going to be face-up stuff. The only way he's going to the block, if there's a mouse in the house and, somebody 6 foot or around that is trying to check him on the interior on a defensive switch. But he's got to find a way to maintain through those moments at the starts of games, through the first half, to where he is still in there and still contributing, even if his shot may not be falling, or if these guys aren't finding him. Or, if not, Rick Carlisle's got to find a way to make sure that you get him active early and he tries to build that confidence and you can play off of it, thus making the rest of your team better.
Yeah, I think it was against the Pelicans. He hit that 3 in the first possession of the game, and it's like, okay, we know Myles is going to be locked in tonight, because whenever Myles hits that first shot of the possession, it feels like he just plays at a different level. I don't know what that is, but if you go back, I know this for a fact, if you go back and look at a lot of the Pacers' losses, especially over the last couple of weeks, you'll see guys like Brogdon and Sabonis kind of put up their normal statistics, which looks pretty good, but it's like a collective unit from the role players just don't play well. Like Justin Holiday had some really bad games of shooting. Turner was kind of, inconsistent, especially against like the Knicks and the Hornets and the Pistons. He didn't look very good. So really, when the role players don't kind of step their game up and just shoot, decent, not even great, but just if they don't play well enough to complement, the guys that consistently bring it or statistically, regularly bring it, then that's when you see this team losing. But I know Myles has been just a huge impact for this team when he's played well. I mean, his block shots, it just creates so much energy around the team. They get hyped up for it. And really, him shooting threes, like if he's able to be a knockdown three-point shooter at a consistent and a high percentage rate, this team is only going to be that much better, because it makes teams have to guard him. Like last night, I think DeRozan was guarding him for some of the game, and it's like that's why fans are like, "I'll get him on the block," but it's like that's not really their game. And I think there was a couple times where he did go down low and score, but you have to take advantage when you have that mismatch. But at the same time, I think Myles is that type of player who, when he feels involved offensively, it makes him more of an active and energetic player all around. So I don't know how they go about doing that besides getting him threes to start the game, but I did like what they did in that Wizards game, the second game of the year, when he had 40 points or whatever it was. the very first play, they ran a back screen for him. He got a back door cut, wide open dunk. It's like little things like that just to get him a few touches and get him involved. I think that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, I so agree with that too. And what's so frustrating about them is that what we see in Utah or what we saw last night in Chicago, and then there are moments like what we saw in Denver or what we saw in Detroit to where, honestly, Alex, you almost have to shut it off. It's so bad. And the bad play matches the level of energy on the floor, which is zero. And that is the stuff that will drive everybody around here nuts.
Yeah, and we talked about this the last time I was on, but I think it's still true. It's like, what is their identity, right? The last two games they've played with much better pace, and they've looked better. But sometimes they've been kind of like, slow down, run an offensive play, try to slow the game like we know against the Kings. That was part of the game plan. Let's slow this thing real down. And then you're trying to play fast-paced against the Bulls and different things like that. It's like, feels like they're always adjusting to what the other team's identity is instead of having their own identity.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I'm kind of like baffled by who this team is and trying to figure it out because, you know, even last year.
When you have the guy by committee, I guess, Alex, right? Because that's what it is. Yeah. It's a the guy by committee, a the guy by the moment, as opposed to having a the guy. And granted, there's not a lot of the guys in the NBA. I mean, there are a lot of guys that believe they're the guy, but not a lot of actual the guys. And I just think that they struggle because it's more by committee, and they have like 4 or 5 guys that think they can be the dude, and then some nights they're not.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I referred to it earlier, but Myles Turner was on a podcast, and one of the things he said is we're a team that's built by the numbers, strength by numbers type of thing, but he said sometimes we don't have, you know, a go-to guy or a superstar player. We're built by our committee. And he said sometimes, you know, that can be a problem because, you know, it's what we've all like, wow, okay, that's pretty honest from your own, you know, starting center to come out and say, you know, we all have to be good to win, but sometimes that can also be a problem because there's not just one guy you can go to in that moment. So, like you said, there's not a lot of A-level players out there that are just available. You have to be lucky and draft one or that kind of thing. But
yeah,
it definitely can be a problem. I think when Victor was here his first year, he might not have been an A-level player, but he had A-level moments in the clutch because of how big-time he could be in those moments. Right now, we still have yet to see that.
Yeah, and he was a guy that grabbed the ball and took it. They don't have a grab the ball and take it guy, I don't think. I mean, and you could tell compared to the rest of the personnel on that team at that moment, and we're talking about Vic's first year here, he was like, I'm going to grab the ball and I'm going to drive it and take it. Mm-hmm. And they don't have, and I'm not talking about they don't have a Vic right now because that Vic right now is much different than he was in that first year here after the trade. But, yeah, I would agree. In that year, you know, Vic kind of became that guy, I guess, and was for the entirety. And the big moments, as you say, over the course of that season at the end of games and making certainly plays that the Pacers need. All right, Alex, final thing. Mm-hmm. Honestly, in a season, you wait 20, 25 games to make a true evaluation. I never do, but most do, right? Logically, you do 20 or 25 games to make a true evaluation on what a team is. Can you do that knowing that the team still at some point is going to be getting TJ Warren back at some point, and you're going to have to work him back in? So how long is it going to take for them to know if they're going to continue to go down this path with the personnel that they have?
Yeah, no, we've had that question come up quite a bit on our podcast, trying to figure out if we can figure out who this team is. And right now, they're 13th seed, but they're only, 2 games out of 6, so 2.5 out of the 6 seed. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to write them off yet. I'm not going to say I know who this team is yet. I think the best way to evaluate it is you're anticipating Warren probably coming back late December, early January. So maybe you give it until the end of January to see what they can be and see what they look like. I think even before Warren comes back, if they go on a massive losing streak during this home stretch, that'll kind of tell you, okay, maybe we might need to think about retooling our roster a little bit. Even though Warren's not back, I still think, like, hey, if you lose that many games at home and go on a rough play, that you have to really think about what is this roster and what is the potential of it. So
you have to make a decision before the trade deadline, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to come to some conclusion.
I really think you have to, unless they feel like they don't need to, which wouldn't surprise me because we've seen it over the last couple of years. You know, a similar core, not the exact core, but still. I think that's why the trade deadline is in the middle of February, right? So that's why I said end of January. You really have to say, okay, Warren's been back for about a month, but are they going to, be able to play him very many minutes? Like, that's the thing. So I'm not like 1,000% sure, but I think you look at their record, maybe 35, 40 games into it, and that's how you make your decision. If this team's not good enough, then I think you might have to rip that Band-Aid off and make some tough decisions.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. We shall see. Alex Golden setting the pace. When's your next podcast coming up?
We are recording tonight with Scott Agnes from Fieldhouse Files. That'll be a good one. And I am currently as well doing a Pacers-Lakers ticket giveaway. So if they don't win the contest tonight on your show, they can check out my Twitter for a chance to win free tickets. I'm going to do that later tonight around 10 or 11. So
look at Alex Golden coming at me with some giveaways here. What?
Yeah, I'm just trying to help out. I want to give back to the fans, right?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I get some asses and seats down there too, man.
Well,
that'll help. I mean, it shouldn't be much of a problem. I wouldn't think tomorrow night. I going back, and I mean, this goes all the way back to the early 90s for me, or into the 80s too, but certainly the early 90s when I was more of an adult. There's nothing able to go around and go to bars afterwards and stuff downtown. There was nothing better than the night before Thanksgiving Pacer home game. So that's pretty sweet. So I remember back in the day, Seattle Supersonics in town, and you're going to Circle Center afterwards when they had all the bars up at the top of the Circle Center, and being in flashbacks with Reggie Miller and Detlef Schrempf and Dale Davis and Reggie Miller's fire hot wife at the time. It was those are all really good memories right there from back in the day. So
yeah, for sure. We'll see how this team can get fans in the seats. I'm not sure what the biggest problem is, but definitely got to fix that if they want to have some real home court advantage.
No pun intended, by the way, with the fire hot wife that I mentioned right there too. No pun intended. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. So did not. All right, man. I appreciate you. Win those tickets tonight. Enjoy the podcast. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, man.
No, I got a little Donnie Baker in there. I wanted to say fire ass hot like Donnie Baker might right there. And then I thought, oh, yeah, now I remember that. Maybe I shouldn't put it that way. Weird. World of Beer with Coors Light. I've got tickets to give away for tomorrow night's game, courtesy of Coors Light, as we're here. And coming up on the other side, I have a Raise Trash Anything Goes. You guys know the story on that, right? Here's what you do. You call 239-1070. I don't check you in. Kyle doesn't check you in. You go on hold and you talk about anything that you want. Raise Trash at raisetrash.com. Anything goes at 239-1070. It's the segment that you deserve. Remember, it's round number 2 of Hard Knocks coming up tomorrow night. It's at 10 o'clock on HBO. Hopefully you guys on HBO Max will be on the same moment in which we're all watching episode number 2 of the docuseries Hard Knocks, which comes at you tomorrow night at 10 p.m. I come at you tomorrow at 3, Brothers in Broad Ripple, and I have Buccaneers Colts tickets to give away tomorrow. That is a can't miss for you. Let me take a break. We'll come back. Raise Trash Anything Goes at 239-1070 next.
Dan vs. Fan, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app. Use code 1075FAN to get in on all the action.
We've done it again.
While other lenders are talking about raising their rates, our expert team at Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With the low rate of 1.875% and home values at all-time highs, you can get more cash out of your home or eliminate pricey mortgage insurance.
Call 317-706-GOLD today to get your refinance started within minutes and make no mortgage payments until next year.
After all, our team speaks mortgage and loves translating it for customers. we can save you even more money with our 1.875% rate.
Plus, you'll never pay up front for your appraisal at Golden Oak. Call 317-706-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.952% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, JMV here at Diamonds Direct kicks off the holiday shopping season with an awesome promotion that, well, starts Black Friday. You ready? 4 years, 0 interest financing on any holiday purchase. You can spread your payments over 4 years without paying a dime in interest. That means you can go big on this bad boy this holiday season. A new engagement ring, a bigger diamond, an elegant pair of diamond earrings, or a stunning diamond eternity band, all right there for you. It's 4 years, 0 interest. Black Friday is when it begins at Diamonds Direct. One-stop shopping, and you can legitimately be the hero this holiday season with a trip to Diamonds Direct. Again, it starts Black Friday. Diamonds Direct special holiday finance offer, 4 years, 0 interest financing. Holiday hours directions. You can see exclusive online Black Friday offers as well. That's diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct is at Keystone at the Crossing.
And that's when I realized it's called a hamburger, not a handburger, because you carry it with your hand. I was wrong, people. It's like that time I thought I couldn't make the perfect app for football. I was wrong again, people. All I had to do was make a sportsbook app where you can earn season rewards all Sunday long. Nobody's better at bettering things than Caesars.
Must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, Love Heating and Air. Hey, you can tell outside right now, correct? It's cold, and it's not going to get any warmer. So what do you need to do? Get in touch with John and Chris Love. Make sure your furnace is tuned up, safe, and efficiently working for the cold winter months ahead. And right now, John and Chris are going to give you this deal, Love Heating and Air. You ready? They're going to waive the $95 trip and diagnostic fee. So their technicians can come out, make sure your system's doing its job. So you find out all you need to know. They do what they do, and you save $95 in the process with Love Heating and Air. Tell them I sent you, 317-754-0754 online. That's love-hvac.com today.
Here's what's happening with the Fan.
It's a special Wednesday edition of Bud Light Blue Friday this week at Brothers in Broad Ripple. Drink ice-cold Bud Light and sign up for your chance to win Colts tickets as JMV broadcast live. Bud Light, brewed for the Colts and their fans. Join JMV at World of Beer downtown this Tuesday as he looks ahead to the Colts game and gives you the chance to win Pacers versus Lakers tickets on Wednesday night.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com.
Joint pain relief doesn't have to mean drugs and surgery. Now there's a better alternative that patients are raving about. Hey, it's Kevin Bowen from my friends at QC Kinetics, local medical professionals using natural biological treatments, highly concentrated in healing properties from your own body, put directly into that affected joint. We're talking restoring and repairing damaged tissue the way your body was designed to heal. If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and steroids and you really want to avoid surgery, then you need to check out QC Kinetics. Regenerative, natural treatments for knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Don't continue to suffer and don't go in for surgery until you check this out. See if you're a candidate at QC Kinetics. Call 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. No surgical pain relief with lasting results. 463-235-7160.
Big Red Liquors got you covered. November, they're giving away 7 $500 Visa gift cards. No purchase necessary. Just slide by one of the 59 locations. Almost said 53. They have 6 more than that, 59 in the state of Indiana, and get signed up today. Honestly, no purchase necessary, but you do have to be 21, and who couldn't use $500 Visa gift card this time of year? And also, remember this, next month is going to be big, and it's going to have something to do with winter. Another big giveaway from our friends at Big Red Liquors. For more info, it's bigredliquors.com today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. This year, our average client saved over $350 a month with an easy rate reduction refinance. What would you do with an extra $350 a month? Buy a new car? Pay down the credit cards? Or possibly take the family on that much-needed vacation? We are locking loans in the twos. How much could you save? Let's find out today. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Right now, it's a seller's market. I'm Patrick Keller with Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate from me in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Black Friday savings are here. Buy 3, get 1 free on Mesa Tires. Save $100 instantly on Cooper Tires and $140 instantly on Michelin Tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
The Ride with JMV.
I am in the parking lot right now, hammering a bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the cheese, in preparation to go deep with 4 hits and put on a laser show to the likes of which you have never witnessed in your entire life.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, let's do a little anything goes, race trash style. Race trash, anything goes, racetrash.com. Job opportunities for drivers, non-drivers, racetrash.com. All the information you need and ways to sign up. World of Beer, Mass Ave, Coors Light brings us to you. I've got Lakers Pacers tickets for tomorrow night to give away. This show is in Broad Ripple tomorrow. Buccaneers and Colts tickets to give away at Brothers in Broad Ripple coming up tomorrow. I was watching Tom Crean's team down by 14 right now to Northwestern in whatever classic holiday style they're in right now. But you'd have to wonder about Tom Crean being a coach at Georgia basketball-wise after this year. Matt Nagy, and there was a report coming out of Chicago from somebody that's, what did he win? He's a writer, right? He didn't cover the team, but he's a writer. And suggested that after the Thanksgiving game, Matt Nagy's going to be fired by the Bears. And if you remember, Matt Nagy was a part of the conversation here before Chris Ballard ended up going the direction of Josh McDaniels, and then Josh McDaniels deciding not to come here in the 11th hour, and Jim Irsay stepping in and everybody agreeing on Frank Reich being here. But Nagy was a guy that Brad Childress, the former NFL coach, suggested, I think going back, that Nagy didn't really like what the Colts were saying. I'm paraphrasing here. I can't remember the exact words that Childress said on a Chicago radio show back then, but didn't like what he was hearing, didn't like what he saw, something with the Colts that he didn't like, and ended up in Chicago. If you remember, there are a lot of names involved in there. Nagy was one. Josh McDaniels is one. Dave Tobe. Is Dave Tobe still the guy in Kansas City, the special teams coach? Because I think he was involved. He was like the hot name, remember, back then. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that's who, Dave Tobe. I know Vrabel was a part of it back then. And if you remember, like Frank Reich was not even in like the top 8 or 9, according to Chris Ballard back then. And ended up being the head coach. There are probably a couple more that I'm whiffing on right here. Oh, actually, Steve Wilkes, who ended up with a gig for a year, I think was one that was mentioned back then. Who's the other defensive coordinator? Is it Chris? Is it Richard or Richard? Chris Richard, I think, was the defensive coordinator that was also mentioned going way back when. Anyway, and Nagy may be out of a gig. I'm assuming that if you lose to Detroit on Thanksgiving, that probably will happen. I don't know if it's set in stone right now, but we shall see. Anyway, Raise Trash, anything goes right now. 239-1070, and Mark Tinsley brings up, and I left him out of the equation, current Carolina head coach, who was then the head coach at Baylor, Matt Rule. Because I know Ballard and company, they flew to Dallas to meet with him, and I think they meet with Nagy and maybe Tobe, I can't remember, at a hotel in Kansas City, I believe. I don't know. Well, anyway, old stories, but that just came to mind because of the Nagy situation right now with the Chicago Bears. Race Trash, anything goes. 239-1070. Kyle, get me line 1 on the air. Line 1, who's this?
This is Clyde Winnell. And
go ahead.
I just wanted to I want to talk about Jonathan Taylor. I think he is definitely the MVP candidate that we're looking for this year. He easily has been, have 5 rushing touchdowns, second most all-time tied. And I just want to say I think Jonathan Taylor will be nominated for MVP this year.
Let me tell you this. If there is, and thank you for the call, too, on Race Trash Anything Goes, if there's a conversation being had right now, he should be a part of it. There should be some dialogue regarding Jonathan Taylor. Nobody's saying that he's going to win it. It's hard for a running back to win it. I mean, look what happened a year ago. Look at the season Derrick Henry had. I don't think he got a first-place vote last year. So it's non-quarterbacks. It's difficult for them to win it, but if there's a conversation to be had, no doubt he should be a part of that as it stands right now. Race Trash, anything goes, racetrash.com, 239-1070. Kyle, line 2. Line 2, you're on the air. Welcome to the show. Who's this?
Hey, JMV, it's Joe from Beach Grove. How are you today, man?
Joe in Beach Grove, great to hear from you. Go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to let you know I went and saw your friends at the Aurora Sleep Clinic the other day. Got fitted for my device there, and I'm really looking forward to getting it and trying it out.
Let me know how that goes, too. Listen, I'm glad we're reaching people because I don't know. Those that don't snore have no idea what it's like because it does, man. It screws up your bed rest like crazy, and the older that you get, the worse it seems to get.
Man, I'll tell you. Hey, I wanted to one more thing about the Colts here. I wanted to get your take on the defense here. I know they had a heck of a game there against the Bills. My question to you is, do you think that was more our defense playing out of their minds, or do you think it was more the Bills not playing out of their minds?
I think it was a combination of the defense playing better and the weather. And the biggest part of that, I think, was the offense because the offense got out early, and then the Bills had to go exclusively through the air, and then you had the wind and the rain, and that discombobulated everything. So I think the Colts defense, and here on out, as I said yesterday, here on out, I think that's what is going to make this defense better, especially in the secondary, is this offense being an offense in which the opposition has to stay up with. Does that make sense to you? That's the way there was back in the Manning era. You know, it was the Manning, the offense, Manning-led offense go out and you get buckets. Or I should say you go out and you score touchdowns. I'm watching basketball right now. But you go out and you get touchdowns and the other team has to track you down and then you turn loose the 2 edge rushers and Freeney and Mathis. With this, to me, it's a little bit different. You get out and then you hope that up front can help out what they have in the secondary. And then I think you had that on Sunday, and then it was also a matter, I think, of the weather conditions that in that second half, especially out to that big lead, Buffalo had to deal with and were unable to offensively.
Yeah, well, I hope we can get out to those early leads because it's not going to be raining in Lucas Oil on
yeah,
Sunday.
I agree. And what's funny about it, I mean, normally everybody wants to say, well, it's a indoor team and they're soft, but you can look at the Colts, what they did in Santa Clara a month ago, what they did in Buffalo on Sunday. Nobody's played any better than they have in conditions like that.
That's a great point. Thanks for taking my call, man. Have a good one.
Joe, good luck with the Aurora Sleep Clinic. Man, that's helped me out a lot. Snoring is a tremendous pain in the ass, even though it's like completely on the other end of your body. It is awful. And it's not only awful for you, but it's awful for those around you. Yeah, Aurora Sleep Clinic. Ask for Brian Evans. Ask for Dr. Steve Green. If you struggle with snoring, check it out like Joe in Beach Grove did. Line 3's Anything Goes. Racetrash.com. 239-1070. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, JMV. This is Mike.
Hello. Go ahead.
I just got a question about the when we lose the coin flip at the beginning of the game at home, why don't, in the fourth quarter, we make the opposing team go to the north side of the stadium as opposed to the south side, just because the north side is so much louder? I just don't get that.
Here's what I want. Here's what I want with this team from here on out. I want them to win the coin flip and get the ball. I want them to have the ball. I like it when other teams defer if they win it. I want them to have the ball. I want them to march down the field, and I want them to get a score, and I want other teams to play from behind. I want this Colts defense to take advantage of other teams trying to play behind by virtue of that. So I hope they always either take the ball or get the ball when they lose the coin flip.
All right.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, that's just what makes sense with this defense to me. The better the offense, the better the defense. And there's a level out, I think, with the defense. But with the offense, I think if the offense like it was on Sunday is able to maintain, you're able to be better defensively by virtue of that. So go out, because this team has been so incredibly successful early on. Go out and get that score early and play that game defensively from in front. Race Trash, anything goes. Racetrash.com, 239-1070. Kyle, line 5 is on the air. Thanks for joining us. Who's this?
This is Eric from just outside Beech Grove.
Thanks for joining us, man. What's up?
Hey, man. So I called a couple of weeks ago, told you guys I had a funny story about some stage names at the wrestling event. Back in the 90s, I don't know which event it was. It was at the RCA Dome, but a couple of these guys were in charge of the props. Okay, so the guy can't remember who the wrestlers were, which doesn't help, but there was this rickety table that they saw, and they thought that this is dangerous. We got to fix this. It's going to break on them. Okay, well, they put a couple of screws in that table and fixed it, made it real sturdy. Then the wrestlers get up there and use it as a prop. The one guy takes the other guy's head, slams it off the table, which was supposed to break away, and it didn't. Okay, that about knocked him out, and he was, looking under the table, figuring out what happened, and it about knocked that guy out. Those guys never got caught. I can't, for my life of me, figure out what match that was. I know it had to have been televised.
Thank you for the call. Race Trash, anything goes, man. Kyle, get me up to date on that. Was I supposed to figure out what that was from, wrestling-wise?
It must have been when we had, was it Raw or I can't remember.
Monday Night Raw was
Monday Night Raw here
last Monday night. Not last night, but last Monday night. Yeah, I have to find it. I don't know that to be certain. Weird. Monday Night Raw. Hey, thank you for the call, too. Appreciate that. Quick break. We'll come back. Race Trash, anything goes. We'll continue that and close it out. Coming up with you on the other side next.
Get the service that you deserve and refinance today at HeroLoan.com. The only way to VA.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Kids, this holiday season, tell your parents about Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Tip off your Thanksgiving early when your Indiana Pacers feast on the Los Angeles Lakers Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's your only chance to see the Pacers and Lakers this season at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Down the middle of the lane to the top of the circle is Turner, and he thunders it down with two hands.
Get your tickets at Pacers.com. That's Pacers.com. Pacers, Lakers, Wednesday at 7.
The holidays are here, and this Thanksgiving, FanDuel Sportsbook is thankful for you. That's why they're giving all customers up to a $100 bonus on same-game parlays. Feast on the NFL all weekend long and turn little bets into big paydays with same-game parlays. Choose any game from the Week 12 slate and build your own same-game parlay. So, for example, the Colts take on the Bucs. Maybe you want Tom Brady over in passing yards, Jonathan Taylor to score 2 touchdowns, and the over in total points in the third quarter. You can build it out any way you want, any game you want in Week 12. That's why I love betting the NFL on FanDuel Sportsbook. Plus, the app is safe, secure, and easy to use, and you get payouts in as little as 2 hours. Plus, if it's your first time betting with FanDuel, you can also enjoy a risk-free bet up to $1,000 when you sign up with promo code MARC, M-A-R-C. 21 and over and present in Indiana. Bonus issued is now withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $100 plus 400 odds or longer. Wager required. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Oh, I got you covered if you have a plumbing issue, any plumbing problems. Lance and his local team. Lance is a great dude, by the way. And they're the best at plumbing at 317-284-9526. That is LD Smith Plumbing. I'm going to have them get a new dishwasher installed for me, and then I got to do something in the basement with a washing machine as well. That's who I trust. And you got easy, you got difficult gigs. And then you have somebody you want to lean on in emergency situations. And Lance and his local team, they're the best at doing that. 317-284-9526. Any plumbing emergencies, that's what you dial. It's LD Smith Plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
This is how we reinvent banking.
Say the money's gone tight in your checking account, then you crack your phone and the screen goes out. No shame in your game, we got the assist. Huntington Bank, lending money with a twist. Come to us for extra cash when you're strapped, cause it's free when you auto pay it back. Introducing Standby Cash. Extra cash when you need it, free when you auto pay it back. Huntington, welcome.
Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Amount available is based on customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standbycash.
Hey, shout out to Joe from Beech Grove, just called and getting with Aurora Sleep Clinic like I did because he struggles with snoring. If you do, this is a fantastic idea to get in touch with a couple of former Hoosier basketballers, Dr. Steve Green, Brian Evans, Aurora Sleep Clinic. They did reach out to me, and I have struggled, and I have tried everything in the past to help me sleep better and to stop my snoring, and they set me up with a simple, comfortable, and affordable custom-fit mouthpiece. I wear this at night, and incredibly, it has stopped my snoring. StopYourSnoreNow.com. If you're struggling with snoring or if you know somebody who does, and you can get a 7-day free trial by calling 317-482-7900. That's a 7-day free trial. Aurora Sleep Clinic, 317-482-7900 today.
Hey, this is Jeff Saturday, and you've heard me talk about Mora Restoration for years. And yes, it's true, I've used Mora Restoration on my home 3 separate times for a fire and flooding. I care about my family, and Mora made me feel confident in using them. Kenny and the team at Mora have just become a part of First On Site, making them one of the largest restoration companies in Indiana and North America. Same people, same personal customer service, but large enough to handle any loss, any disaster with First On Site. When you need help, call the people Jeff Saturday calls. Call Mora Restoration, a First On Site company.
John for Bullseye, eventgroup.com. Colts VIP tailgate's going to be a big one coming up on Sunday. 10 a.m., the doors open. I'll be there at 9 a.m. to help lead you guys into the best pregame party going. All you can eat, all you can drink inside the Bullseye Event Center. Climate controlled, and this is going to be awesome. DJ Skids, DJ Helicon, the entertainment. All you got to do is get your passes at bullseyeeventgroup.com, and while you're at it, know this, that you can get Colts game day tickets, Colts tickets of any kind, anywhere, now at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Everything, anywhere you want to sit with bullseyeeventgroup.com. In fact, just go ahead and combo it up. Passes to the Colts VIP tailgate and tickets to the game on Sunday. Log on and get them now. It's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our most dazzling selection ever and 4 years zero-interest financing. Diamonds Direct showcases are fully stocked with the classics, as well as the latest trendy fashion jewelry from world-class designers. You'll get the unbeatable value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Plus, spread your payments over 4 years, 48 whole months with zero interest. Get holiday store hours, directions, finance details, and see our online gift guide at diamondsdirect.com. Unapproved credit.
Crew Car Wash wash books make the perfect gift for anyone on your list. The Ultimate Book is on sale now for buy 4 washes, get 2 free. Purchase at any Crew Car Wash location today.
Hey, it's JMV at Race Trash Service. They're all about protecting the environment while bringing cost savings to you. Natural resources are going up in price, and landfill space is disappearing. So Ray's is committed to preserving the Hoosier environment and serving Central Indiana with efficient, cost-effective, and responsible waste removal and recycling solutions. They're one of the largest recyclers in the state of Indiana with customer rebates on paper, cardboard, and so much more. Visit raystrash.com to see how they can bring recycling solutions to your organization.
Wednesday on Kevin and Query, Ryan Kelly, Colts Center, joins us at 7:05. It's our final show of the week. Join us 7 a.m.
The Ride with JMV.
Can I buy you guys a drink? Guess not.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, shout out to Megan Brown, who is listening right now. I love this tweet. It's basically tradition at this point. Whenever my dad picks me up at the airport when I come home for the holidays, he has JMV on the radio. Shout out to Megan Brown, friend of the show, and Megan's father for listening. That makes a guy feel really good right there. World of Beer, Coors Light, Lakers Pacers tickets to give away in just a bit. Tomorrow, Buccaneers Colts tickets to give away. Brothers in Broad Ripple. Be there. We start at 3. Race Trash, anything goes. Line 1 at at 239-1070. Get in here. You're on the air. Who's this?
You know who this is? It's Donk. First of all, shout out to Jimmy, the best caller and best listener on this show. Now, I want to take this time to wish a happy Thanksgiving to the millions, and I'm millions of Donkamaniacs out there. John, I hope your family's well. Donk out.
Donk with the happy Thanksgiving to everybody. The Rays trash, anything goes. We'll close it up. Line 3 at 239-1070. Thank you, Donk. You are on the air. Who's this?
Hey, John, it's Will in Muncie.
Hello, Will in Muncie. Good to hear from you.
We play your show from 3 to 5 here in the office. One of our favorite parts is the play-in, where it says the ride with JMV, then a movie quote.
Yeah.
But, man, we need to get some Big Lebowski, some Fletch. We need to mix that up a little bit.
You know what? Tom and I have been talking about doing some different things. I think you're right. Big Lebowski, Fletch. Anything else that stands out to you?
No, man, but we love that part of the show. We always giggle. So, man, that's a big part of it, dude. When are you here with the Underhills? And, he's like, no, they already left, and he went out for his urinalysis.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys in Muncie, man. Continue to listen. I'm going to thank everybody here at World of Beer, our friend Jenna and Coors Light as well. We're going to give away some Pacer tickets. Brothers in Broad Ripple tomorrow. I got Buccaneers, Colts tickets for you. Be there at 3. Cam, Kyle, thank you. Tomorrow at 3 in Broad Ripple. See you there.
Dan vs. Fan, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app. Use code 1075FAN to get in on all the action.
We've done it again.
Golden Oak Lending has dropped rates even lower.
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. With a 1.875% rate and home